What is going on, guys? Welcome back. It's 2022. This is the first podcast of the year. You are tuned into the 20 podcast. I am DJ Spider. And this is sponsored by Beatsource, the music streaming service for DJs that play everything. Visit beatsource.com for a free 30-day trial, and I'm pretty sure if you enter our code, the 20, you will get a free 60-day trial. So go try that out. Enjoy it. I've been using it and loving it. There is a lot going on in the world. Like I said, it's 2022. Omicron is taking over. Some gigs are getting canceled. Places are back on lockdown, while others are wide open. And us, as DJs, we're adapting as needed. As always, you know, we read the crowd, we read the room, and we read the social situation and adjust as we need, guys. Getting back on Twitch, doing whatever you got to do. Let me know how you guys are loving the show and what you're thinking. And talking about adjusting to the world, our guest today is coming from Toronto, which is in lockdown, and he tells us all about that. But our guest today is someone that has been amazing at pivoting and doing things like that. We've got someone that he represents real DJing, but he also wears many hats. You know him as an international touring DJ, a music producer, a recording artist. He runs his own marketing and design company, as well as his own record label and lifestyle brand. He's been the official DJ for the Toronto Raptors for, get this, 17 years. I don't know if that's one of the longest sports DJs in the game, but it sounds like it to me. And you get to check out his amazing championship ring on this episode if you're watching on YouTube. His positive attitude and his years of experience lead to many inspirational gems that are dropped on this episode. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. So let's dive into it. Please welcome to the show, 4Korners. We are here, guys. First podcast of the year. It's the 20 podcast, and we got 4Korners on the show. Please give it up. Yeah.
Hey, there's the applause. I was waiting for that.
There you go. There you go. Come on. Even I think Snoop's in here.
How are you doing?
Blood. Oh, yo, I am. I don't know. I think how are you doing is it's in 2022 is coming back to a loaded question because I am good, but there are crazy things happening in the world. Before we talked, you know, we'll see when this if this conversation gets dated after a few weeks, but definitely had some gigs cancel and a lot of crazy things happen today because of COVID. So 2022 is starting out on a weird note, but overall, I am good. And how are you?
That's a legit answer. I feel like I've been urging my friends to not give me the, oh, I'm fine, how are you doing response that we just auto-respond. Actually, tell me how you're doing, and you just did. I'm doing my best to keep a positive attitude. I'm in Toronto, and our entire province, state, is on a severe lockdown as of today, actually. It feels like it's been in effect for a while, but like they just upped the ante today. So restaurants, clubs, everything is closed again, gyms, all that stuff for what they say is going to be 3 weeks. I don't believe anything they say.
I mean, jeez, we got to give it a.
We'll
we got to
see what
give
happens.
it.
We'll see
We
what
got to
happens.
give it this. That's the official COVID sound right there. That's crazy. So yeah, I had read that Toronto was going into some sort of lockdown. I saw you post, you know, for everyone listening, you're the official DJ of the Toronto Raptors. And I saw you post that you were DJing to nobody in the stands. And, you know, no crowd. Wow.
Yeah, we started the season great. We were back in Toronto. Our team was playing in Tampa all of last season because of COVID, and the border was closed. So they just were the only team on this side of the border. So we set up shop in Tampa. I didn't go, but the team went. I sent mixes. It sucked. But
oh my God.
We're back home. We're back home this season, and like more of this. But at least we're home. That's the bright side. We're home, but we're playing in the arena with. First, we went down to 50% capacity, and now we're at 0% capacity. It's
Oh my
weird,
God.
man. It's weird, but it's actually kind of fun still for me. I mean, I'm there just playing music. I don't have the energy of the 20,000 people that I'm used to, but
Yeah.
neither do the players. But it's like
Right.
really now, really my job to build a vibe, and it's been fun doing that.
That's great. I mean, that's good to hear. And I mean, I think, and going back to your original thing of saying not giving the answer of just like, life's good, out here grinding, you know, like we're actually human beings going through things. So like,
We really
and you seem like a very positive person from your persona online, you know, and I try to be too. But for us to say that we're trying to keep it positive with this is like, damn, we're the two positive guys. But yeah, it's hard. But like you know, I guess the positives are, look, we've been through this, thankfully. We know how to respond in a way. We've got a lot of different tools at our disposal now. We know how to utilize all this technology. There's so many things we've learned, and there's so much stuff that we can take away from it. And we also know not to listen to, like you said, we'll be closed for 3 weeks. We know that could mean 2 years or 2 days. No. We don't even know anything anymore.
Not at all. And I think that we're better equipped to deal with it now. Or at least I feel that way about myself. I feel like
Me too.
I saw this coming, and it wasn't like, oh man, here we go again. It was like more like, okay, what's the next move?
Yes.
That's how I feel
Yes.
now. So like, it's still a bummer, but like at least I kind of can plan ahead and figure it out
true.
versus literally having no idea what's going to happen.
Right. It's almost like those other, you get motivation in other ways. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, you can go, like I seen you killing it on TikTok, and I know that kind of started happening. Yeah, exactly. New thing. So in a way, it's like, okay, motivation, let's go into TikTok. Let's go into this mode. I know that you're producing now. You're making songs. Like, there's so many things that probably came out of the pandemic and things that you had planned for before that you were too busy to do that you could work on. So I guess that's the positive part. If we're getting shut down, we got a lot of other things to work on, right?
The
Twitch,
silver lining. No, the
Yes.
silver lining is time, honestly. It's time. Like,
Yes.
we, you know, the out here grinding, you said it before, we're used to a really hustle and bustle lifestyle. And like, I, as well as you, as well as a lot of our friends, spend a lot of time on planes usually and like traveling all over the country, around the world, doing gigs and not having a lot of time. And now we got hella time, man. We got so much time.
We got hella time.
I've had enough time to work on some new things, to learn a lot of new things. And I've had time to do absolutely nothing and just like relax and rest, which is not something that I'm really used to. Yeah. No, I'm not
but
mad
people
at it.
need that. People need that. You know, you got to take some time to yourself. And I think that can help you more, you know, more than you realize some of the time. And so, like you said, Toronto is locked down. Like, that's kind of crazy because even here, things are getting canceled. And I had a lot of gigs get canceled as of today and this week. But still nowhere seems like it's going into lockdown. Like, I feel like nightclubs are going full force. Festivals going full force. Weddings. It's only like the corporate gigs that seem like they're shutting down, at least on this side of things. Why do you think they're doing the full shutdown in Toronto, or what are they saying?
Well, the short answer is our leadership is trash. Like, specifically in this project. And I'm not even like, I try to be a positive person. I think that I'm a positive person.
I think you are.
I give the benefit of the doubt. I gave them the benefit of the doubt 2 years ago. But we're 2 years in, and they're still making the same decisions that they were making then, even though we have way more information now. It's just not, it's not it, man. So, like, even looking across the country, compared to, like, this province and Quebec, where Montreal is, we're on severe lockdown. The rest of the country is open.
That's crazy.
Explain
I
that.
know, but
Explain
same.
that. I know population, whatever, but like it really doesn't exactly make sense, and therefore I've lost faith in the logic of it all.
Right. It's crazy. Yeah, we're in Los Angeles, Texas, and Florida are open, and not that anyone's right or wrong. It's just that it's insane. Like you said, we have the same kind of thing here, and it's hard to figure out. But
I've let go of the feeling of, it's got to make sense. It really doesn't have to make sense because it's not making sense, and it's not made sense for a long time, and yet still we're here. So we got to make the best of it and do what we can. I'm currently, only reason I'm in Toronto right now and not off somewhere else in the world where they're open is because of my duties with the Toronto Raptors. And I love working with the team. I've been the official DJ. This is like season number 17 for me. I've been there for a very long time.
That's incredible. Honestly, I mean, come on.
Yeah, man. I mean, I helped build the role for.
That's huge.
There wasn't a thing.
There wasn't
before.
a thing. 17 years ago, you did not really hear of DJs in sports. Teams,
to my
arenas,
knowledge,
stadiums, right? I don't.
To
think
my
I
knowledge,
did.
prior, other than me at that time, prior to me, like the godfather of this shit is DJ Irie with the Miami Heat. He was the first, as far as I know, in the world of sports team official DJs, and I think I'm the second, unless there's somewhere else in the world that had it. Like at least in North America, I'm the second. Irie was the first. It's because of Irie that I got my position, because the higher ups at the Raptors saw him and thought that would work here, and through a series of events, I ended up having a shot of doing it.
Oh, that's incredible. That's so cool to know. And I mean, Irie's a legend, one of the greatest, nicest, best people out there. Great DJ, ultimate business person. I mean, he's incredible.
Absolutely. And always willing to look out and help people, which is really
always
him.
One of the nicest people.
Irie.
Like the first time I met him, it was so long ago, and I had won a contest where I got to go to Winter Music Conference and open for Mark Ronson and DJ AM at Mansion, and the other two DJs were Mr. Mauricio and Irie. And I remember meeting him. I'd never met him before. And he was like so nice. He like embraced me. And he's like, I'm so proud of you. And he was like saying all this stuff. I'm like, you don't even know me. And like, I love you, man. Like I felt like he was like, my dad or something. It was crazy.
But don't you feel like the DJ community should be like that? Like, shouldn't we treat each other this way? A lot of us do.
Totally.
A lot of us do. You and I are two of those kind of guys too. I know. Yeah. Like I love seeing DJs come up. I love seeing people decide to become a DJ. I think it's the greatest thing in the world.
Me too.
So I'm excited for people, and I know you are too. So like, Irie is definitely one of those few gems that like, he's not looking to just grab as much as he can. He's like, he understands that there's enough for all of us.
Yeah.
And that it's a great thing that we're doing. So there should be a lot of great people doing it and doing it the right way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, shout to Irie. And that's incredible, 17 years. I see the ring on your finger when you were moving around.
I had to put the ring on,
That's
even
amazing.
In the house, I wear the ring.
Oh,
sometimes.
That's dope. Yeah, you got to wear it. You got to wear it. Even though Kawhi ended up coming over here, but...
Yeah, but he didn't do what he thought he was going to do. He should have stayed at least one more year, I think.
I agree.
We'll never know.
I have to agree. We will never know.
We will never know.
That's amazing. Well, for the people that don't know, like we said, you are the official DJ for the Toronto Raptors, and you do so much more. You're an international touring DJ, and you truly have played all over the world, and I know that has a piece of kind of why you're called 4Korners and 4Korners of the world, and I think it's such a fitting name for you. And you've also moved from being, an open format DJ into a music producer, a recording artist. I heard the song you put out. I saw you playing it at the arena. It sounds really dope. And I know you also do graphic design. You have a marketing company. You have a record label, a lifestyle brand. You're a TikTok star now. You're doing
aspiring TikTok star. Aspiring. You know what?
I think you're going to get there. You put in the work. I mean, you're doing good.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, I wear a lot of hats. I just love what I do, and I love the business, and I love doing the things that I do. Everything that you see me doing, I love that shit. It's not, I don't do anything just because. I've designed my life in a way, and I figured this out a long time ago, and I'm so happy that I had the guidance to like be shown this flex. It's like, we're only here for as long as we're here for. We don't know what it is.
Yep.
Why spend any time doing things that you hate or don't like? Why don't you do take that time and spend it doing the things that you love? So I've figured out a way to finesse the things that I love into situations that I can get paid and get flown around and stuff. And that's been the goal. And I'm just like, everything I do is working on leveling that up to do more. But the TikTok thing is like, it's seeming like it's the next thing. It's like a really important thing in the entertainment business and in music. And for a long time, I mean, I know you're on TikTok too a bit. I didn't know what the hell, like, where I fit in. I didn't know what the hell. I'm not going to do dances and, like,
right.
You know what I mean?
I'll be honest, I'm still figuring out my place in it. And it's funny because it seems like the kind of platform I would love. Like, I loved Vine. I love all of those. And I just really had a great time doing it and making the magazine faces and any kind of stupid fun thing I can do. But it didn't translate perfectly over to TikTok, and it felt like a lot more work, and I did that whole I don't know thing. But lately I've been trying to get more and more into it, and I'm going to dive in. I've seen how you really go with the trends and sort of watch what's happening on there and try to produce things that seem authentic to you but fit in the right way into the platform.
Yeah, what I've learned, and I've done some studying. First of all, like I signed up for TikTok, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe.
Right.
Posted
me too.
maybe 5 videos in 2 years, like nothing.
A lot of DJs, you know.
Yeah, because we don't know what the hell we're doing on there. Like, it's a total.
Right.
I've learned I started going hard at it in October. I just decided the season's starting. I'm going to start doing some basketball related content. A lot of people love the Raptors. Maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
And that's working. So definitely I was right. But
yeah.
in that, I've learned that there's it has its own language. Like, you know, Twitter, what works on Twitter doesn't necessarily work on Instagram. That doesn't necessarily work on Snapchat or Facebook, or like each one of these social platforms has their own culture.
Yeah.
And I had a hard time figuring out the TikTok culture until I think I'm learning the language is what it is right now.
You know, it's funny. It's like almost DJs have this innate power within them, as much as they don't want to admit it, to do that because we're used to reading the room and going into so many different situations and knowing how to adjust. And so the DJs are like, well, I just can't do TikTok. It's like, okay, well, then you can't go DJ that room. Like, in a way, you have to figure out how to read the room on that platform and on all the platforms. If you just post, this, like you said, the same thing on Instagram as you do on Twitter, it's not going to translate. You have to talk on Twitter a certain way. And if you don't want to put in the work for that, fine. But
for sure.
Sorry,
like I said earlier, you got to do shit that you enjoy. If you really don't enjoy it or you convince yourself that you're not going to enjoy it, then sure, don't do it. But it's a missed opportunity because we're in music and TikTok is like the most music forward social media platform that there has ever been. It's like all centered around music.
Right.
So it's a perfect
and it's everything. It seems like it's all the different ones put into one, and it has the potential to really grow and even come into this quote unquote metaverse thing that everybody's talking about, where, you know, in a way we're in the metaverse by DJing on Twitch and by doing these things. But TikTok seems to have these interactive things that even Twitch and some things may not have, where when I see people going live on there and interacting with the stickers and battling, and I think it's only going to grow and get bigger. So, and it's a way to grow quickly.
That aspect of it, which there's so much going on. It's very, very Chinese. Like, have you seen the Chinese social media? There's like so many platforms over there.
You're right.
Like I tour Asia a lot. There's some shit that I look at. I'm like, yo, how do you even understand what's going on your screen? There's so much happening.
Like that shopping thing I had seen a couple years ago where they have live shopping and they have people going in all the stores and you can pick who you want and they'll buy you things like almost on their Instagram live. It's not Instagram, but yeah.
They're way ahead of us in a lot of things in that respect. And TikTok has some, I mean, it's originally a Chinese company. Yeah. It has a lot of that integrated into it, but the potential is like, I feel like I talk about TikTok so much. I'm just trying to get all my creative friends to take it seriously because there's opportunity there.
Yeah.
It's very, very clear there's opportunity. You just got to figure out where you fit in and how you speak the language. You got to just, figure out what it is that you can do that's real about you that makes sense there. If you can do that, you're good. I know so many people that are just using it so well, like especially artists, like singers and rappers.
Yeah.
I know a few in particular that like are literally building their careers using that platform, and it's translating to streams, it's translating to shows and brand deals and increasing followers and their other stuff. It's really where it's at right now. So
and
if you're
DJs,
a creative,
producers,
if you're a creative and you're not on TikTok in 2022, you're missing an opportunity. get on there and just figure it out, man.
You're inspiring me. I'm gonna go harder on there and
I like the 360 cam stuff you do though. That's dope.
Thanks. Like, yeah, I mean, I've been in that experimental thing. I'm like, all right, I'm going to make some videos like this. I'm going to make and see kind of what gets response. And I have noticed those do well and trying to,
but that's the right way. I was taught that too. I actually, I'm in contact with the people at TikTok Canada, and they just sent me a bunch of suggestions on people in my niche.
Oh, nice.
It's all about niches on TikTok.
Yeah.
So my niche is like, obviously it's music, but like DJ related, and I have basketball. I have a few things going on that translate well on there. But I was shown the flex, like, yo, try a few things and see how and you got to like, not just try it one time. You got to give it a go.
A lot. I know.
A lot. Like a lot. Like it sounds daunting when you tell somebody, yo, you should post 3 times a day. That sounds absolutely ridiculous if it's not your full thing, or if you're not. But you know what I mean? It's hard.
I guess one advantage is that TikTok is so hard for your video to be seen, or so easy. So if you post a bunch of crap, don't worry about it, because no one's gonna see it. And then if you do post something good, does. Yeah, so people are gonna see the good video, and you don't have to be embarrassed of posting the bad ones, because really nobody's gonna see it.
Doesn't matter. And then you can honestly, that's the truth for all social media in my opinion. I've been to some like seminars and some panels and stuff, and I've heard people legitimately like pine over social media posts and be like, oh, if you put it up and it doesn't do numbers, or if it doesn't, people don't respond, well, it's okay, you just take it down. I'm like, that's not how I look at things. That's not how I do things. I do things to say something. You know what I mean? I do things to like, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to get across? If I feel like I've gotten that across and a lot of people didn't see it, a lot of people didn't see it. No big deal.
Right.
But I still want it to live there because I said what I said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm putting who I am on the platform, and I'm not going to take it down because people didn't like it. I'm still that guy.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? At some point, people may see it. Like it's the same thing with music. I've learned that too in the past 2 years more than ever. If you put out a song and it doesn't go crazy with streams, that's fine, because you put out another one and you put out another one. And at some point, whenever people find you for whichever song it is, they can check out the other ones. They're still there. Like you're not taking a song off of Spotify because it didn't do good first week streams. Right? Same philosophy for social media. You don't take down a picture because a bunch of people didn't double tap it. So what? Do you like the picture? Cool.
Well, it's like Lizzo, Truth Hurts. You know what I mean? That was around for a couple of years before it was even a big song.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of things like that. You know what I mean? Like even remixes I've done. I did this remix in 2015. A lot of people heard it, and I thought everyone had heard it. And even in the past couple of years, people were like, oh, I like that remix. I'm like, I figured all the DJs had like heard it, played it, and stopped playing it. You know, and like you don't know, like you said, you just got to keep doing it.
Everything is new to people who haven't experienced it yet. And as creatives, it is our duty to put dope shit out into the universe and let it be what it is. Don't take it down because you didn't get the response that you hoped for right away.
Right.
If it's dope, it's dope. You know what I mean? The same reason, we're going to talk about TikTok again. On TikTok, songs from the 70s are going viral now.
Right. Yeah.
Not every song, but some songs. And every single one of those old songs that blows up now, they're great fucking records.
Right.
Like they're
and
great
people are
records.
young. Like people are like, oh, I can't believe you didn't know this. Like I had a kid come up and ask me what I was playing Stevie Wonder, Do I Do? And he's like, who is this? Or what song is this? And I'm like, you know, most people will be like, what? You're an idiot. You don't know this? But it's like, I'm happy that I got to introduce him to that song.
Right.
And same online. Like a lot of people are young. 10 years ago, they were super young. They didn't know what was happening just because you were around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like old school to them is like early Drake. That's old school.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's so true.
I remember, I feel super old at times. I remember when I had to come to grips with the fact that like early 2000s was old school to some people. Like that's their parents' music.
I mean, it's 20 years ago.
I was mind blown by that because like, but at this point it's 20 years ago. And I think about it like, oh, whoa. Yeah. that's how it was when I was growing up. I thought of these types of songs as my parents' songs, but because of TikTok, it's bridging that gap. And what's a beautiful thing, some of the clubs that I played recently where I noticed the crowd is notably young, I'm just like, TikTok brain. I'm like, yo, let me throw in some Earth, Wind, and Fire. And they go off because they know it because of TikTok. And it's new to them. But it's a great song is a great song. But they love it because they have some ownership of it. It's not their grandparents' music. It's not their parents' music. It's their music.
Yeah.
And so now I can play Pop Smoke and Earth, Wind, and Fire in the same party and have people go crazy. That's awesome to me. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's amazing. That's so cool. And also, yeah, it really plays well into what, as open format DJs, you know, like that's what we do. That's what we've always done. That's what we've always loved. That's why we love DJing, you know, is combining them. And so it's almost coming back around to that and giving credit to it and allowing people to discover those songs and then us to present it in our own creative way again.
It's starting to feel like, do you remember like 2010-ish?
Yeah.
When we were literally playing whatever the hell, because if whatever song it was, there was a Be More remix of it that like went hard.
Yeah, it would be like Chubby Checker into like Sweet Dreams, you know, into like, it was like the 50s into the 80s, into the 90s, into a new song. It's
kind of starting to feel like that, except with the actual original songs, because people are discovering them in a different way now.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny. You're right. I even played like Motown recently and everybody was singing it as if it was like the new Drake song. And I'm like, this is so funny to watch, you know?
Right. I found out from Cardinal Official, who's like legendary Canadian artist.
Oh, of course.
For those who don't know. I know you know. He's an A&R at Universal Music in Canada now.
Oh, okay.
And he recently had a song, Dangerous, him and Akon, that blew up on TikTok recently and like just started streaming like crazy. He just like, what the hell is going on? Why am I getting 500,000 streams a day on this old song?
Crazy.
Realized it went crazy on TikTok. Some trend from some kids in Malaysia or something just started doing this thing. And in his like dealing with that, he told me there's a new category of music as far as the record companies are concerned now. There's brand new, there's catalog, and there's a third thing now called Resurgence. And that's a whole department for songs that are cataloged that become new again.
That's so interesting. That's cool. That's cool to hear.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's only great. Like it's Dreams, Fleetwood Mac, it's Rasputin. It's like
it's
just
ABBA,
classic records.
It's all those
ABBA.
songs, you know? Yeah.
It's songs that like every one of these songs, none of us are looking at these songs like, oh, that song was trash then and it's trash now. No, they're always the great songs.
Yeah.
So, which shows me that a great song is a great song and it's forever. So if you put out a song and it doesn't go crazy today, if it's a great song, it will live at some point. Somebody will find it. Somebody's going to love the shit. Just let it be. Let it be.
Yes, that's the truth. Just a little bit to finish off the TikTok thing, like, is there anything else that you've learned that you think you could convey to the people? You've told us some stuff, but is there any other lessons you've learned of what to do or not to do or things with videos?
Consistency.
Okay.
It's not the type of thing. I mean, most of the social platforms are like that too. The more active you are, the more part of the conversation you are.
Yeah.
But TikTok is really that. And like what's beautiful about it though, and I think this holds true for most social media nowadays too, is like the level of quality is not that demanding anymore. It's like you don't have to have the best camera. You don't have to have the best lighting. You don't have to have the best anything. You just have to have something to say. Like connect with people. It can be the shittiest phone and the like, you know what I mean? You can be in like a cave or something. Like you don't have to be in a mansion standing in front of a Lambo like how Instagram was a few years ago. Like, you know what I mean? It has to be this super polished thing.
Right.
It's not. It's
That's
not
so
at all
true.
that. We're in a time right now where people are just figuring it out, and like the best things are the simplest things. So like don't think that you're not going to measure up because you don't have X, Y, or Z. Just do what you do and like do it consistently.
Right.
And you will you'll be putting yourself in the position to be like part of the conversation, part of the community. And it's really, really like all about sharing and stuff. You do something that people find is great, they're going to share it with their friends, and that shit's going to go crazy.
Right. And doing the genuine thing, like you said, because I see you saying Canadian music I played at Raptors games.
Yeah.
And those videos, I love those because I get to go, oh, yeah, I forgot about that song, or I didn't know that was Canadian, or that's cool, or it's cool to see him playing it there. You know,
right.
it's real to you. That's really what's happening. So I think that's why those videos do well for you.
Yeah, well, that's what I literally do. I make it a point to play new music, to play Canadian music, to play classics, or like give new artists a look or whatever. So I was like, well, let me document this stuff and see if people care. And thankfully people care.
Yeah, that's great. And so when you're doing that, like when you're at the games, like how much control do you have over the music, or how planned out is it? Can you give us a little insight into kind of what your nights or day, what your sets are like at the games?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have a lot more control than you would think, because there's a few things. Every game I get like a 1-page run of show. And on that has like specific things that are like for certain moments. Like if there's a sponsorship hit, or if there's like the dancers are dancing to this specific song, or the mascot's going to do something to this specific song. I have those. But other than that, they just trust me to do what I do. And I have free will. I just gotta, all they've ever asked of me is to like obviously keep it clean, radio friendly.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Keep it diverse, which is super easy for me because that's why they headhunted me in the first place. Like the VP of marketing saw me playing at a corporate event around the time that they had seen DJ Irie and thought, oh shit, this is Toronto. It's super multicultural. Yeah. What you're doing, would you be like, she literally asked me, it's like, yo, we've been thinking about, we saw the Miami Heat had a DJ. We're thinking about having a DJ here. Would you be interested in something like that? Like, that's the dumbest question ever. Of course. Like, of course. So I just like from that day, I had to harass her a bit to like get it to happen. But like once it happened, I was in my element already. I just was doing what I was already doing. I grew up in Toronto. It's literally the most multicultural city in the world. Like for real, like I Googled, it is. And,
it is. It does feel, every time I'm in Toronto, I've said it to friends, I feel like I'm in another, well, I was going to say I feel like I'm in another country, but I feel like I'm in like I am. But I feel like I'm in I feel like I'm in a very international place. It is. Like you said, it feels very diverse, very international.
It really is. There's like pockets of the city that are like, you'd be like, yo, this is Canada, because there's so much of one kind of people there. And then if you're downtown, it's just a mix of everybody. And I grew up in the city. I grew up like all my friends were all from all different backgrounds, different nationalities. Most of us are first generation Canadians. So literally our parents are from all over the world. And that sinks in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like through my love of music and like absorbing everything, when I became a DJ, it just seemed natural for me to let that out. Like all of my entire career, like I started with hip hop just because like, actually that's not even true. I started with like old school funk and stuff just because that was my dad's record collection. When I started buying records, I started buying hip hop.
Yeah.
But then when Serato became a thing, I was like, oh snap, all this music that's already swirling around in my head that I know and love, I can now play this stuff. Sick. Yeah. And I never looked back.
Same thing. It was like we just didn't have enough money to buy all the records back then. I was like, you want me to do an 80s set? Like that's going to cost me a lot.
Not enough money, not enough friends to help you carry all these damn records into all the clubs. Like,
that's why I was like, all right, I'm a hip hop DJ and I'll play some drum and bass, but like I don't have enough money to buy the other stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah, but honestly, man, I'm so happy that I came up in that era because it's made me appreciate things so much more. Like, do you remember the feeling of that record that you were like dying to get and you couldn't find and you finally got a copy the first time you put that on and play it? Like, I'm playing this record. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's
like
what it was all about.
Nobody has.
Exactly. That guy. Yeah. And it was so much fun to know that you were about to go introduce people to this amazing music you had just found. You know, it was like, I was so hyped to be like, check out this crazy record I found, or this remix, or something, you know, and then talk to the people about it. And I mean, that's what DJing, that's what a lot of the driving force of it was and still should be, you know, in some respects.
Except now it's like you got 19-year-old girls coming up to you in the club being like, yo, can you play this song? But this specific remix, it came out at midnight. I know it's 1 a.m. Do you have it? And then that's where
it comes out tomorrow.
Right? But I got it. I have it already. Do you have it?
It's on YouTube. Like, yeah, I know. Can I plug my phone in? Yeah, it's a mix at this point, you know. But then you got Twitch, you got different places where people are introducing each other to stuff, and we are Shazamming each other and learning about it, and it's just
I'm
a big
Shazam fiend. I'm unapologetic about my Shazamming. I will walk up to the DJ booth and be like, "Yo, I'm Shazamming this shit right now. It's dope. Great job. You're killing it."
Do you ever put on the auto function?
You know what? I'm a very, 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 very picky DJ. So like if I'm in a club, I want to hear a dope DJ. There's not a lot of DJs in the world that I can hear and they're like super dope and putting me onto a whole bunch of new shit.
Right.
Like it happens, but it's few and far in between. But it definitely has happened. Usually somewhere else in the world. Like it's
same.
Like one.
Yeah, I've been at a party in New York and I was like, I'm auto Shazamming. Like I didn't know so many of the songs. I was like, I'm just gonna go through my list when I get home.
No, dude, Amsterdam. Have you played in Amsterdam?
I've been there a few times. I've never DJ'd there.
My guy, they have a whole thing there that like every time I go there, I learn so much new music because they have their own scene. It's almost like the UK. Like they have their own scene of stuff that's like huge there, but not really known elsewhere. Right. And it's so dope. Like so many different styles of music and like a mix of, because they're a mix of cultures too. Great place and great top quality DJs there.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, hopefully one day I will DJ there when we're back traveling around.
We got to get back to that, man.
Yeah, we will. I know we wanted to do this interview in person, but I think we're just like, let's just do this. We'll do a part 2 at some point.
I'd love to. I was really hoping to get down to LA. I told you, I was like, yo, in January, I'm hoping to get down. And then this lockdown came. I'm like, I am not leaving for a while. I don't know where I'm going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just lean back into the online metaverse, whatever, virtual connections.
Dude, I don't know if you've done any traveling. I've left the country once in 2 years. I went to Jamaica and played a wedding like a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
I was away for 3 days. And I've never, since I started DJing, have I ever been at home for this long. It's weird.
Yo, it's very weird. Yeah, I went out of the country. I went to Mexico like a couple months ago, and then just been traveling a lot, like with in the United States. But but no, it's just not like normal type of traveling like I was doing before, and just that one trip to Mexico. But yeah, everything's crazy right now. We're like we said earlier, we're adjusting to it. But as far as so for the Raptors games, like over those 17 years, are there any specific things that you've learned about DJing to those types of crowds or that type of experience that's much different from your other DJ gigs?
Well, the main thing that people need to understand, or DJs need to understand, is it's not at all like any DJ set that we would normally do. It's not a party.
Right.
I do my best to bring the party atmosphere, but it's super not a party. It's more a production than a party. Like you do a lot of stuff too that I'm sure that you understand exactly what I'm saying. Is like it's a production. It's a show that you're putting on for people. It's not as much. Sometimes
you're playing the songs for 5 seconds, right?
Yeah,
or something.
Literally. Like it's not. Like I said, I do have pretty free reign over what I play. But you're right. There's it's all cut up into segments. Even when I do the halftime show, it's like 5 minutes go, and like
Are you on the mic a lot?
Only when I do the halftime show.
Oh,
We
okay.
have two in-arena hosts that like handle the
okay.
mic and I play the music. But when I do the halftime show, like the lights go down, spotlight on me. I got some dancers with me, and I rock the mic while I do a literally 5-minute DJ set.
Crazy.
So, like,
and do you do that every time, or do they have specific halftime shows that change up?
Yeah. We change it up. Like, you know, it's just like every team. There's always like acrobats and like different kinds of things that, or you know, or performers. Like we had like this season we had Lupe Fiasco earlier this year do a few records and stuff. But then also there are specific nights that I'm doing the halftime show. So that's when I get to flex a little bit and, you know.
What do? You're just like, yo, make some noise, Raptors, and then just have a bunch of, you do crazy quick mixing, or what's it like?
Yeah. Like it's 5 minutes. I try to rinse through like 15, 20 records if I can. To just
and like sing along ones they know, and then in your own way.
Yeah,
nice.
Exactly. It's mostly, I mean, because of the type of crowd, it's literally everybody, all walks of life.
Right.
A lot of what I do is stuff that people know, but I also have the freedom to introduce a lot of music. And like, I've made so many connections with artists that way too, because no matter what level of artist, this is something I definitely learned to answer your question. No matter what level of artist you are, every artist gets so stoked when their music is played at a sports arena.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, of course, when I play the artist who is just starting out, they're like, oh my God. Or like anybody from Toronto who's grown up as a Raptors fan, like it's a dream to have their song played at the Raptors game.
Right.
But like I've had like, I think most notably is like Fetty Legrand, who's like, he's Fetty fucking Legrand.
Yeah.
That guy was so excited when he heard that I played his music at a game that like, I've met him a few times. Like I kind of know him, but like I didn't. But we got to know each other because he was so excited to talk to me and ask me questions. And he was just so giddy because like, no, you don't understand, bro. Like hearing my songs at the festivals and like on the radio and stuff, that's cool. But like, oh my God, at a sports match, like at a game, it's like crazy. Like that doesn't happen.
So
that's
cool.
crazy. And I'm like, dude, you're Fetty Legrand, dude. Like, but it's exciting. Exciting. So like, I've learned that. I mean, obviously, like, as an example, Drake does not get excited to hear songs anywhere because where does his music not play? But but there are a lot of artists that like it's a really big deal, and I've made some great connections with new and upcoming and like buzzing and popping and like super popular every level of artists. I've made so many connections over the years by showing them some love with the great music that they've made.
Right. That's so cool. And what's your setup? What's your DJ setup at the games?
I have 2 CDJs and an S9.
Oh, cool. Just pretty standard. Do you have like something for sounds and stuff, or is someone else doing that?
No, somebody else does that. I actually had to do that a few games this season because the guy that does that got COVID.
Oh, God.
Not awesome. So I had to like, he has something that's more like an instant replay, like keys with, you know, labels and stuff. Because there's a lot.
I'm sure.
And I play music, and I'll do like a couple sound effects in the sample banks, but like not a whole lot. Like we have sound effects like for each player when they score, there's like a little sound that we'll play and like stuff like that. There's no way I can do that as a DJ.
There's no way. Yeah, I think the most efficient way that I've seen is letting the DJ be a DJ, letting the host people be the host, letting the sound effect person be, letting the organ person, you know, everybody have their own job. When they try to make the DJ do everything, I mean, you're searching for music, you're looking at a computer screen, you can't see every single possible thing.
Exactly. And the thing with that, look, I had to cover for a game last week, I think it was, and I had to do everything. Like everything that came out the speakers was me that night. Wow. And it was not, I mean, everybody after was like, oh man, you killed it. It was so good. The vibe was so good, whatever. I was like, yeah. But my brain hurts because
you're literally like walking on a tightrope. Like you're like, if at any second I could fall.
Yeah. Like I literally had no time to enjoy the game or even like, I had to loosely pay attention to what was going on in the game while thinking about the next thing, while listening to what's happening next. Cause they speak to us through in-ear monitors. Yeah. So like the person running the show is talking and like telling me what's up and like calling audibles and all. There's a lot. So to answer your question wholeheartedly, it is not something that just anybody can do. It's like, it really is a different type of performance. And like the multitasking is very high. You got to be able to
Right.
do a lot of stuff while people are talking to you, register what they're saying, pick up the mic, talk back to them, but like still keep rocking it. And all the while there's 20,000 people like in the room.
Yeah.
And if something goes wrong with the music, they know where I am. They all look at me. Like it's it's
I
it's a
mean,
lot.
funny enough, it's almost like the same mindset that an athlete has to have. The DJ of the sports games has to have the same thing with
It's game
all
time.
of that. Right? It's game time,
And then when the
you have
game
to be
gets-
alert on everything and the crowds. And I mean,
Yeah.
you have to be super on point. Like one thing can mess up everything. And that's what I've learned from talking to some of the other DJs that do these huge arenas like that. It's a different mindset. It's not as laid back as some other DJs want to be, where it's like, yo, bro, I'm just
No.
rolling up in the spot and putting on a song. You know,
Yeah,
like,
no, at the club, the club compared to that, the club is light work.
right.
Like, and you know as well as I do, a lot of DJs know there's a lot that can be going on in a club, especially like a
Yes.
big bottle service club. There's
Yeah.
a lot going on. You got the manager telling you, "Oh, you got to play. There's going to bottle show coming. You got to play
Right.
this
It's
song."
the same kind of thing, but not the same
But the
kind of.
stakes are so low.
Yeah.
The
Totally.
stakes are so low. If you don't do it in the time that it's supposed to be done, nothing happens.
Right.
Nothing bad happens.
The music
all.
could go off. You're just like,
Right.
yo, sorry, yo. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, whatever. People are drunk. They don't even remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the
that's true.
same thing. Like, not the same thing at a sporting event. Not at all. But I love it. though.
Right.
I mean, it's second nature to me now, but what it is now compared to what it was when we started, I built it to that. Like me and the team there, we built the role out as to what it's
Yeah.
going to be and how it's going to work and like what it'll look like and sound like and feel like. And it's working out, man. It's working
That's
out.
dope. That's so cool. Do you have any favorite moments over those 17 years that stand out in your mind? That
The entire championship season, every moment of
man.
that season. The
That's
playoffs, Spider, the
incredible.
playoffs were insane. Like the whole city came outside after every win for 2 months. Like
that's
every
amazing.
night, the Raptors would play, we'd win the game, people would flood the streets like we won the championship every single game.
wow.
Every game. That's what you do. You watch the game, you go outside. That's it. And it was
That's
so
amazing.
dope. So dope.
Yeah, no, you guys have a lot of pride there, you know, for sports as a whole and for your teams. And
Yeah.
I mean, even I saw Scratch Bastard making those crazy videos, and you know, there's all kinds of
Yeah.
like everybody
Well,
putting work in.
Here's the thing: the Raptors are the only NBA basketball team in the country.
Wow.
So like,
I didn't realize that till you said it earlier. I mean,
Yeah,
it makes
'cause, like-
sense now that I think about it, but I don't know why.
Well, we had the Vancouver Grizzlies for a moment, like in
Yeah.
the '90s up until the early 2000s. It didn't really work out there. Their attendance wasn't good. The Grizzlies
Right.
went to Memphis. They got bought out.
Yeah,
So
much different. Memphis and
it's-
Vancouver.
Yeah. So it's just us. So like when we were in the playoffs, the deeper we went, the more people from the rest of the country started getting on board, and it just
Right.
became this whole phenomenon that like we had our area outside the arena, we call it Jurassic Park, where we I like on the away games, like I'll DJ there and there's a crowd and we have
Yeah.
like, put on a little show or whatever. By the end of the playoffs, there was like 50 something Jurassic Parks across the country where they were just gatherings of
Oh, that's
people
great.
watching the games. It was absolutely insane. And then the championship parade was the biggest sports parade in the world in history. There was like 2 million people there.
Wow,
It
I
was-
saw it, but I didn't realize that. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And like I
That's
didn't
so
know
dope.
this at the time because I DJ'd that. But I
Yeah.
was on the stage. It just looked like people. It just looked like a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people. But I
Right.
didn't know until after the fact that they set up screens and speakers around the whole downtown core because there's no way that enough people could have. There was not enough room for everybody.
Right.
So they turned the whole city into this event. And I found out after that, like, I was literally DJing for the whole city. For like 6 hours.
Crazy.
Supposed to
my
be for 2 hours. It
God.
was 6 hours.
Probably for the best that you didn't know that.
You know what? Honestly, man, like, I'm thankful that I've been doing this long enough that I don't get nervous anymore. Like, I used
Yeah.
to really get nervous. And I don't remember. Actually, you know what? I'll lie. I remember the exact moment when it changed for me. It was the vinyl days. I was doing a live remix, and my needle broke the one that was playing the instrumental. So just a cappella in the club. And I was freaking out, and people started singing, and I was like, you know what? Doesn't really matter what happens in the club. You can always recover. You can always pick it up. It's not that detrimental because everybody's drunk having a good time anyway. And if they are not having a good time for 10 seconds, they will survive. So
yes, that's good. No, that's a good mindset to bring into it.
From then on, I haven't really gotten nervous for anything. It doesn't matter how many people. I play in front of a lot of people all the time. It's actually more nerve-wracking to play in front of less people to me.
Right. I know what you mean. That happens when it's like a very small party and they're like, well, nobody's dancing. And there's like 22 people. And you're like, yo, like you got to have the energy in the air to make that happen.
And it's like always very important people when you're doing those events and like you really want to do a good job. And they're like eating shrimp cocktails and kind of looking over their shoulders. Like,
right. That's when you start to feel like hot. Like, okay, what's happening? That's so funny.
And then you play Be Faithful and everything's okay.
That's the trick all DJs need to know. Be faithful. Yes. It's like turning the light switch on and off.
Exactly.
How do you follow it up? That's the real question.
That is true. That's true. You got to think about that one. I love doing this, and there's not really any situation that I'm not happy with doing as long as I get to play music. So that's why even right now that we have no fans in the arena, and I'm not playing any. I just started getting back into playing nightclubs. I haven't because the capacities here haven't been back to normal.
Oh, okay.
So the booking fees have not been back to normal. So
yes,
I've steered clear because like I don't. I'm very much about my business and not like diminishing my value because once you do that, especially certain places around here, it's hard to get them to go back up to the regular price.
I've been saying the same thing, and I've had to hold out on so many places and kind of stick to my guns and even say I need more money sometimes coming back because we've been through a lot. Things cost a lot more now. And a lot of the people we're working for have a lot of money and made a lot more money over the time. So, I mean, I don't think it's that crazy of a thing.
People, pay it forward.
Come on, guys. But I agree. That's something to know. You know, a lot of people, yes, I know they have to work, but at the same time, you really have to think long term and think about those rates and think about where you're going to put yourself money-wise.
I know a lot of DJs get really, are really hard on other DJs for like undercutting and doing that kind of stuff. I used to be that guy. I realized in time that like not everybody has the same goals. You know what I mean? Like not everybody's a career DJ. Some people are career DJs. Some people are, I just want to play some music on the weekends, bring some friends out and make some extra cash. Yes. You can't be mad at those ones for not valuing their price or like being so stringent. No,
it's so true. It's like we're not all running the same race, but everybody acts like we are. You know? So it's like, oh, you're going so slow or this guy's cheating. It's like, just worry about yourself, you know, because it doesn't matter. Like you said, you don't know everyone's goals. You don't know everyone's situation. You don't know if they won the lottery and they're doing it for fun. I mean, you don't know if you don't know anything. You don't know if someone has to pay their bill tomorrow morning. Yeah, exactly. And their mother's in a hospital and they have to do it no matter what and get that extra $100. Like you don't know anything on any side of it. So we really can't judge each other, especially nowadays, and just pay attention to yourself. You know, don't worry about everyone else's business.
Precisely. But for those of us who are really like career DJs and like really trying to build brands and like elevate and stuff, there are things that you have to be mindful of. And like your value is very, very precious. You can't just play for anything or just play anywhere. You have to protect your brand just like any other business would. Like McDonald's is not going to partner with some random company that's not going to do well for them. They'll pass on it. You know what I mean? It might be some money, but they'll pass on it because it's not the right thing. We have to look at ourselves that way. This is my the marketing guy.
No, you're right. Now. You're right. I mean, it's like people say, you know, sometimes it could sound cliche, but like the word no is very powerful and can get you sometimes farther than saying yes if it's used in the right way.
You got to know how to finesse the game. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's true. And same thing with the club thing here. It's been weird, and I think they just sort of let down the walls and were like, okay, no more, like you said, the amount of people, like the capacity that went away. And now they're just like, if you're coming to the club, you basically know that you might get COVID and you're cool with it. It's, I guess, I don't even know the mindset.
You know what though? Contrary to popular opinion, maybe, I think that's kind of the way it should be. It's like, if you assume the risk, that's your choice. You know what I mean?
Right.
People who are vulnerable should probably not be at the club.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? But people who are, young, healthy, vaccinated, not vaccinated, if you assume the risk, then you should be able to live your life. And if you get sick, then you have nobody to blame but yourself.
Right.
Isn't that how it works with every other sickness?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's such a weird thing because it's like everybody wants to do the right thing, but then they don't know what the right thing is, and it's like we're all here. We all want the best for each other, but then at the same time, it gets so damn confusing. And I hear what you're saying. Like at this point, like you're saying, we have the vaccines, we have all the things to keep you safe. So if you don't want to do those,
we're 2 years in at this point. So I just feel like.
Right.
And like, not to get too deep into this because it's going to bum me out. There are a lot of other things that are really not favorable that are coming out of this pandemic besides COVID. Like, there's a lot of people struggling with a lot of other things, or the repercussions of this is causing other or bigger problems. And I think it's really important to not negate those. Like, let's not devalue those.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
It can't just be about, well, you're a piece of shit if you're not keeping people safe. Whereas, like, just like what we were talking about regarding, like, you don't know people's situation. There's a lot of people going through things that you don't know about. They're not going to talk about, but it's really difficult as a result of what's happening with COVID. And we can't forget about that shit. Like, we can't pretend like that's not real. This is affecting a lot of people in millions of different ways. And it's not just as simple as, well, get the vaccine and stay inside. Like, it's not just that.
Right. Yeah.
It's not just that. So
it's very layered and complex. And then it, of course, just got so confusing over time with politics and all that crap. That part.
Like, we gotta live. We gotta live. And I think that we should be able to choose how we want to live, because I'm here in Ontario where everything's locked down, and I'm looking at Texas and Florida, and they're living and nothing crazy is happening. Like, if there was,
but everybody is getting sick. But I know it's
but what
very
defines
confusing.
Sick though? Like, define sick.
I have no idea.
You know what I mean?
I got no comment because I don't know anything.
When I look at, I just watched everybody enjoy Art Basel.
Right.
Didn't seem like any catastrophe of sickness and death happened. It did. If it did, they covered that shit up really well, because, like, I know plenty of people that went. They had a blast.
Right.
And there's, like, things going all over the world that people are fine. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to bum myself out anymore. I don't want to bum you out.
I hear you.
Whoever, all the listeners, I don't want to bum you all out. You guys already know. We don't need to go deep into it. But.
Yeah, and you guys got your own opinions on everything, and everyone's doing their thing. And everywhere in the world is completely different, like you said. So you could drive. Like, I was in New York and then in New Jersey, and within a couple-hour drive, it was like two different planets, of like the way that everything from hotels to restaurants to everything operated in New York and then operated in New Jersey. And it was like, wow, this is night and day. So it's going to be different wherever you go.
Brother, I played at the Calgary Stampede in July.
Yeah.
And
that was a cowboy hat videos.
It was definitely a cowboy hat week. The situation in Toronto at that time was, like, fairly locked down. Not as locked down as it is now, but, like, pretty damn locked down. Like 70% lockdown. Calgary was 100% open.
Right.
And, like, I'm in the same country. In one place, I can't sit down in a restaurant. The other place, I'm playing a room with 3,000 people, raging.
Yeah.
I remember thinking to myself, yo, if there's no catastrophe that comes out of this, then I have some questions.
Right.
And there was no catastrophe. Alberta didn't blow up. Nothing happened. You know what I mean? Some
Right.
people got sick just like everywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
I
it
got a lot of
depends how you
questions.
look at it and analyze the numbers. I mean, like I said, I don't know anything, so I can't claim to know, why, who's
that's
what
why
making what decision. But I'm with you; it's crazy. The whole
I just
thing
have
is,
questions is all. I'm not claiming to know anything. I'm just looking
Yeah.
around, observing, and I'm like, well, I have
Yeah.
questions. It doesn't add up. I have questions. Nobody seems to be able to answer the questions. So in the meantime,
Right.
what do? How about we live and figure it out?
We live. Yeah,
We
yeah. I mean, I know. Well, so as far as like, moving on to some of the many other things you do, something that's closely connected to what we're doing right now is that you are the national director for DJ City and Beatsource for
Yes.
Canada, right? Which is a massive role because DJ City's been around forever and has such a huge footprint up there, and Beatsource now for the past couple years or even few years has been doing the thing. We've been getting up there. So what is that all about? Like, what's your role as the national director? What have you been doing and some of the projects, and what do you enjoy about it?
Well, you know what's crazy about it? I've been a member of DJ City for years and years and years. It's the best DJ pool. I'm not just saying that because I work with the company. I felt that way long before that. And I was actively looking at, why don't we have any representation here? Because like I was seeing, DJ City UK, DJ City Japan, DJ City France happened. And I'm like, yo, we're like, I know it's an American company and we're right next door. And like per capita, the DJ excellence in Canada is very high.
Oh, it's huge.
I mean? On the global
Toronto
scale.
alone has so many incredible DJs. It's mind-blowing.
So I'm like, DJ culture is very alive here, but like we don't have any representation. And I found out that there was a little situation in Quebec, and like not a lot of people knew about it or whatever, but it didn't really work out. And I was able to, how it happened actually, how I got involved. I played in London, UK, and I did a show where Play opened for me. Play's the head of DJ City UK. Yeah. And we had dinner that night. We played the gig. We had a great old time. And I mentioned it to him because he said, oh, by the way, he mentioned what he does. Yeah. And I was like, yo, I've been trying to get in touch with somebody. I remember Latin Prince had come to Toronto and like had a small meetup, like kind of like a link up, but like not a lot of people. And it was just nothing really official. And Play was like, yo, dude, I'll connect you. I'll introduce you to Styles Davis. And got me on the phone with Styles, and we had a couple conversations, and it was like, honestly, it really, really made me feel good because Styles was like, yo, I've heard of you. Let me just like, it sounds good. I think we can do something. Let me just like, ask around. Yeah. Because obviously I gotta check out the resume. Yeah, yeah. And he called me back a few days later, and he's like, yo, everybody said you're the guy. So do you want to do the thing? So I was like, wicked. Amazing. That felt fucking great. So yeah, since then, I built a little team here of DJs from across the country, and my role, and I pass on to them as well, is to basically cultivate DJ talent in Canada, to be showcased through the DJ City platform. So that's like DJs doing mixes for the podcasts, doing bedroom sessions and routines and stuff like that, and promoting Canadian music. So like I'm the one that like essentially puts Canadian music that's not Drake, Weeknd, Tory Lanez on DJ City and Beatsource, because those ones are going to be there always no matter what. But like I, for example, like put Smiley on DJ City and stuff like that. It's like to get these records from these artists that are like we know are bubbling and are about to be bubbling on a global scale that maybe not are front of mind, or like you might not be in the know if you're not on the ground here. You know what I mean? So, and I love having that role because I've been able to shine a light on so many dope DJs and artists, and it's a great position to have. And then when Beatsource came around, that made it even doper because I think it's the technology of Beatsource. Without getting into it, everybody who listens to this podcast should already know what Beatsource is. It's incredible. It's really dope.
But I think people listening still are trying to understand. I answer direct messages probably every day from at least one person or a few people that are like, do you think, what do you think of this? Or could it replace this? Or how do you use it? And so I'm always trying to explain, you know, how it's a companion to some things in my library, how it helps, how, you know, New Year's Eve, I was using it. I mean, it was crazy because I did this party, didn't know what they wanted. Then they started getting into Afro beats, and I'm like, all right, D. James, you're about to hook me up. So I go into his little African folder, and
that is the beauty of Beatsource to me, and that's why I'm so excited to like tell people about this new platform, this new way of thinking, essentially. Like this is what it was when we were changing from vinyl and CDs to Serato. Like it's a whole thing. But the curated playlists are the dopest thing in the world to me. Just like you said, you know, they love.
Well, it helped me so much.
Party.
Yeah, because I know some of it, but then I was like, oh, that's in his essentials folder. I actually didn't know that one, so that must be a big one in the essentials. Then I can go to the new ones and know these are going to be newer, or I go into the top 10 hits, or even the 20 playlist, you know, that Kid Spin does. Oh, I didn't know this new house song or whatever, reggae, dancehall, or, you know, and then flip through those and just wanting to know what the new songs are. Even if I have my own remix or edit of it that I did, I can still get the reference point from looking at their crate and then go back. And even if I don't play that one necessarily from Beatsource, and then go back and play it. And,
well, the beauty is like everybody curating playlists are all like experts at something.
Right, and they do it themselves, and they're playing that music themselves. You know, the Latin curator, the hip-hop curator, the dance curator, they're out there doing those sets.
Exactly. And I actually, shameless plug, I actually have 2 playlists on Beatsource.
Nice.
The Sports Arena Anthems playlist, for obvious
dope.
reasons. And then also I have a VIP crate, which is super dope to me because like I'm such a fan of all the DJs and artists that have VIP crates. So when I got asked to do a VIP crate, I was like, sick.
Me too. I was like, let's go. Like, we're on the list with so many dope people. So
exactly.
And I even did that. I went into Diplo's VIP crate because by the end of the New Year's Eve night, people were highly, you know, in a different mind state. And I don't even know what type of things were in their body, but it was maybe some trippy thing, mushrooms, I don't know. But I had to really go into some deep, weird shit, you know? So I was like, all right, Diplo playlist, this might work, you know? And I started checking in the VIP crate, so I'm like, all right, Dylan Francis, you know? And then you can go in there and go, these guys play these kind of parties, I'm going to dip into that, you know? Or, okay, I'm in Vegas, let me see what Vice is doing, you know? And then now me and you have them for our type of events.
Exactly. My crate is like a representation of the diversity of the type of sets that I play. So it has like
me too.
Some old stuff, some new stuff, a lot of international stuff. Like a lot of, you know, there's Portuguese, there's Latin, there's French, there's African, there's Caribbean, and it's all mixed in because that's how I play my sets.
Amazing. Oh, I'm checking I'm going to save yours to my library. Make sure it's in there.
But yeah, it's been great working with DJ City and by extension Beatsource, and I'm so excited to see where it goes. And one of my favorite things to do is the DJ City link-ups, where we are able to like, set up shop in a different city and just invite all the DJs out to mix and mingle and actually be in the room together, not DJing. I mean, we all jump on the decks at some point, but like to actually be in a room and hang out with DJs when you're not at work, there's no pressure. You actually have time to talk and build and like forge relationships. Right. That's really, really cool. I love the community aspect of it all.
Yeah, that's great. That's so cool, man. I mean, it's just so cool to see how DJing fits into all these different parts of everything, you know, from the sports stuff to just entertainment to social media to, you know, community and just building this real, genuine community of all of us helping each other and live our lives. And it's dope, man. I love it.
I've learned so many important business skills, but also life skills from being a career DJ. And like I say it all the time, I can't remember where I first had this conversation, but I say it all the time. If you were especially us career DJs, the amount of skills and know-how and connections that we acquire over the years, we're super qualified for so many positions in all aspects of business. Like, this is the most rigorous, painful but exciting university you could ever go to, because the things that we go through and have to endure, but also the amazing moments that we have, and like just the connections that we build and the network and the skills and like the learning how to, you know, work through adversity. Like this whole pandemic, we've all had to be the pivot masters.
I know.
And it's making us better and stronger and more adept to be able to handle things and like put any of us in boardrooms or on like A&Rs or management
marketing
or
meeting, like
marketing.
So much of this,
yeah, we're ready, we're equipped. We already been doing it for years and years. So
exactly, it's like, yo, if you're listening, believe in yourself for all of those things, and don't feel like, well, I'm just a DJ, I wasted my time. You've developed so many skills over that really you could hone in on and turn into anything else, you know. And I think really, go ahead,
guys. If you really do this, like if you really live the DJ life and like immerse yourself in the culture, you are already qualified to do a wide array of incredible things. You're not just a DJ. You are definitely not just a DJ. You are an entity. You're a force. You can do any number of things. And also you can learn and adapt and do more things that you don't even know how, because you're just trained for that. You're built for that at this point.
Yeah, that's so true. And we've had to be the pivot masters even more than we ever were before. So we learned a lot from that. And I know that, you know, like you said, you've been DJing a really long time, and you've been an open format DJ, which is what the name that we've, I guess, sort of grown into.
Remember when we used to be mashup DJs?
Yeah, we were mashup DJ. Remember when we were just DJs?
Remember that? Remember when DJ meant you played a lot of different kinds of music?
Exactly.
As a thing?
Yeah, it wasn't just like, well, what's your exact style? But I know that you have kind of pivoted into being a recording artist, music producer, and someone that's working with artists. You've got your record label. I know you've put out a song as 4Korners with someone else as the producer, but you also have a side project that's all house music as well, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've been releasing music as 4Korners for about 2 years now.
Right.
A lot, like records, solo records, a bunch of collaborations, a lot of stuff. And multi-genre, that's like open format, mashup. Whatever.
Right, that's what I took from it. That the 4Korners persona is sort of just an extension of your DJing and how you love everything, and you're able to mix it together, but you're taking it to the music production standpoint, right? And finding people to collab with that fit in there, that you could play songs at the arena or wherever. I could play at the spot, you know, and and then the house music thing is your other thing.
Yeah, the house music project specifically is called 401 West, and that's with my partner in that. His name is Ashton Adams, a super talented producer and artist, drummer, guitarist. He does a lot of things.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that I'm one of many DJs that have gone on to become producers and artists, because I feel like it's a natural progression.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
We spend so much time. Like, I don't think I know any DJ that's like, again, I use the term career DJs because there's a difference. I don't think I know many career DJs. I don't think I know any that don't dabble in production in some level, like whether it be like remixes or edits or full-on productions. We all do something with the music. We all play with the music because it's natural. It's only natural that we do that. And I remember you had Lil Jon on this show recently, and he was speaking about this. I talk about my DJ brain all the time. I produce with DJ brain. When I'm making records, I'm thinking 100%. Of structure for DJs to be able to play these records, because I'm making records for myself to play. Like, I've spent years and years playing everybody else's songs. It's a different level. When you play a big record and you hear and you like see the crowd react, that's awesome. We all love that feeling. But to play a record that you've created, that you conceived in your mind and you made with your hands, and then you play that in front of people and see them react, it's the highest level of dopamine that I've ever experienced in my life.
Right.
So as soon as I started doing that, I'm like, oh shit, I need to do more. But I do it all with DJ brain because I don't think I can not do it. I have DJ brain. I am a DJ. It's not what I do, it's who I am.
But that's the best way to get the music out there. You know, it's going to speak to the DJs. They're going to want to play. You know, when you hear that track with the dope intro or the drum break or something, how you're going to mix it in the second you hear it.
Exactly. And beyond that, the biggest finesse, the biggest flex in my entire career is being the DJ, but making the music. And then if I'm on the radio or if I'm playing at the arena or whatever, it's like, so many artists are like, oh, how do I get my song played? I play my own shit everywhere I am, and there's no questions asked. It's done. It's done. Yeah. So I think it's a great, great, great thing for us DJs to get into making music. If you love music like that, and if you feel like you're, even those DJs who don't maybe have a musical background, because I do. I grew up playing piano and woodwind and brass and drums and stuff.
Oh, wow.
But you don't have to. You don't have to. Like, there's lots of ways to be able to make music and to learn or work with people who can do things, and like use your DJ brain to let the person know what you want it to sound like or what you want it to do. And like, you know, that's how I started. I at first I was like, I have all these ideas, but I don't know how the hell to get them out. Like, how do I make this real? And I got together with a homie of mine who was super active. He's not that active anymore, but he was a DJ producer from Toronto named Joe Ghost. He was like straight house guy. He had some releases on like Spinning Records and Hardwell's label and Aoki, Denmark, and all that kind of stuff. He kind of showed me how it works, but he was an Ableton guy, and I'm not an Ableton guy. I don't understand Ableton. It's Sanskrit to me. Like, I don't get it.
Really?
It doesn't look like music.
What do you use?
I use Logic.
Okay.
And Logic just seemed to make more sense to me. And then I was told after the fact, musicians that actually play instruments generally gravitate towards Logic more so than Ableton. Right. And I don't know if that's true for everybody. Right. But it's definitely true for me. It just like looks like music to me. My brain registers it. I actually started messing around with Fruity Loops, but that felt like a video game. And
I heard it kind of is.
Yeah.
Like you can make things very fast in that respect.
But like when I started working with FL, it was like early days of FL. So it was way less advanced than it is now. Like it's really dope now, but it's too late for me. I'm a Logic guy. But
yeah, use what works.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I was taught a long time ago too. It doesn't matter what you use; it's what comes out of the speakers that matters.
Yep. Yeah. Totally.
But yeah, it took a while to learn how to do it, and once I started getting the hang of it, then I just had to like get good at it. In terms of like, you know, I sucked. Like I thought the ideas were great. Not that great. Not that great. The songs that I was making, not that great. The first thing that I did that people actually were like, oh shit, this is dope, and this was the thing that made me think, okay, I should really do this, is do you remember Twerk?
Yeah.
Benzie and Eccentric?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I did a record with them. There was a David Banner rework of his song Play. We called it Work.
Oh, yeah. I have it. I play it. I mean, I have that in my library.
See, that's the thing. That record... Number one, that record got me known globally to DJs.
Right.
But seeing DJs playing it, like I remember DJ Snake like premiered that on BBC. And I was like, yo, like I know Snake. I've known Snake since before he got big, but like it was still a great look. Like he doesn't have to play my record.
Right.
And then people are sending me videos of like Diplo playing it and Skrillex playing it and like all these DJs. And I was like, maybe I should give this production thing a go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's huge. I love that record, too. Good idea to flip that. You. And Twerk kills it. Eccentric and Benzie, I mean.
Yeah, Eccentric's still out here doing his thing. I just found out recently an artist that I came across. I was like listening to some songs and looked into the credits, because I still look at credits. I really always look at credits. And I keep seeing his name pop up. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's like involved in a lot of records these days, that his name's not at the front of it, but like he's a producer and writer.
As he should be. I mean, I saw he put out this SZA remix and she posted it last night on her thing. I was like, wait, I love this. And I'm like, nice. Hopefully he gets to produce for her, because I mean, he's incredible.
Yeah, no, he's really, really dope. But yeah, it was great to do that record. At the time, I'd never even met them in person. We just internet shit. But that was the spark that really let me know that, okay, cool, this is something that I can do. And then I made some more shitty songs and then started getting better at it. And now I think my music's pretty good.
Good. It's good to be proud of your music, and it's good to get through that shitty phase.
Yeah, man, you got to get that shit out. But like, I'm really feel like I've turned the corner, and I started my label. It's called Jane Shepherd, essentially just as a vehicle to put my own music out, because I'm currently not really interested in signing a deal unless it is a fantastic deal, because we're in a different age right now where it's not necessary. It's actually like that shit wasn't ever made for us artists. It was not made for us to succeed. It was made as a business tool for us to get our shit out because there was no other way. Now there's other ways. So like I don't want to do that unless it's the right situation. But yeah,
and I think that's smart. You have your own label, so you put it out yourself on your own label. Have you used the label for anything else, like putting out any other artists, or mainly just as a release vehicle for your stuff now?
Well, I've done work with artists and labels and such, but I haven't put any of my music out through a label. Right. It's all independently. It's all I own my masters type shit. Yeah. And I have direct relationships with people at Spotify and Amazon and Apple and stuff. So I've been able to like lean on those to get my music in front of people and such, playlisting and all that kind of stuff. Same thing I was talking about before. It's like when you're a career DJ, you make connections. You meet people, you build, and those things are valuable. So like I started the label to put my music out, but just very recently I've been thinking to myself, you know what? I'm actually in the position now to maybe sign an artist or two and start helping somebody with their career. Because at first I was like, well, I don't have a situation. Like, I can't put you on. I'm still trying to put myself on. Right. And in a lot of ways, I am still trying to put myself on. Like, I'm good as a DJ. I'm good. And that's the beautiful thing, because I don't have to depend on music to earn income. Like, I make music from DJing and stuff. Yeah. The music is like, it's gravy. It's whipped cream with a cherry. But I've been able to build it in such a way that I think that I'm putting it out in the universe now. I haven't said this out loud to anybody yet, but like I'm putting it in the universe. I think I'm ready to start, helping people with their careers more directly. And that may be in the form of signing some songs or maybe full on signing an artist. I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
I'm open.
Amazing. Glad you put it out there.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here on the 20 podcast. That's great. And also, like, you do so much to be able to promote the music too. Like, I know you know graphic design very well. You actually have a whole marketing company, right, that you've started and run. And what do you do with that? I'm sure that helps you with your music, but any other things with it too? Yeah,
for sure. It's called Mirrr Media, MIRR, Making Identity Really Rad. Nice. And I run it with a partner. She goes by the name of Alien U, and we just came up with the idea based on, like, she taught me Photoshop a few years ago, and I just started doing all of my stuff. And she was like, yo, you're getting really good at that. And I'm like, yeah, well, I have the ideas. I just always had to hire somebody and try to explain what it is that I wanted to see. I know
exactly what you're saying. Yeah, same. I'm always like, I want to put this here, there. Like.
Yeah. And that kind of sucks. And then when I got to doing it, I was like, yo, I've been paying these dudes a lot of money for stuff that's not that hard to do. Yeah. And then I started to realize it's the ideas that are the important part. Like, the actual doing it is not all that difficult in most cases, but the ideas, that's where it comes from. And I've always been very big on marketing, even before I was even DJing anywhere. Me and my partner at the time were doing professional photo shoots, and we're trying to get clothing sponsors and all that stuff, because I just decided early, even as a DJ, I want to market us as artists. I want to market us like in such a way that we're not just that guy or those guys in the corner that, play the records or whatever we want. Like, when I was coming up, there was a crew out of Toronto named the Baby Blue Sound Crew. You probably don't know them, but no, they were the shit. They were amazing. They had a record deal. They were putting out like official mixtapes on Universal with their own records mixed in with them. Wow. And like those records they had records with like Sean Paul and Cardinal and like early before they blew up. Yeah. And everything about the way that they did their thing, I was like, yo, that's it. That's it right there. Through a series of unfortunate events, they didn't stay together. They broke up or whatever. But like that idea, that sparked it in my head that like, yo, if you market yourself as an artist, you're going to set yourself up for success. You're going to set yourself apart from the other people in your field. And I've always taken that, and it just grew and grew into the point where now I actually have this marketing company where my partner and I, we already do a lot of stuff for other people, but I also run all of my things through it too. And it feels great when people look at my 4Korners stuff or my 401 West stuff and are like, oh man, that's, you know, the way you did that rollout, that was sick. Who'd you do it through, or who did that, or who, you know, designed that, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, we did that shit. We did that shit. That's
amazing.
So, I mean,
it's your boy.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm in the position to be able to, like, maybe do that for some other people. So,
yeah,
that's where I think the future. I'm still going to be making music. I have, like, a lot of things in the works. We just dropped our second 401 West EP just a couple months ago. It's called Our House Volume 2.
Nice.
Our House Volume 1 came out in 2020.
Okay.
And, yeah, and I'm working on my first 4Korners EP that's going to be coming out this spring. And I got a whole bunch of collabs and remixes and records on the go. And it's an exciting time. As much as, like, the only thing missing is not being able to be out and touring these records. Like, I've put out a lot of music over the past couple of years and have not been able to do nearly as many shows as I would like to do. Because, like I said, the goal is to take the music that I made with my brain and play it in front of people and see them react to it.
Right.
And I've had limited opportunities to do that over the past couple of years. So I'm looking forward to getting back to it.
Well, maybe it's a blessing just to let you build up all the skills and all the music, and then at the right time, you just blast it off into the world.
Yeah. Who knows, man? Either way, I'm having a great, great time all the way through. And, like, I couldn't be happier about where I'm at as far as, like, what I do for a living. I play music and stuff. People pay me.
It's incredible. No, I love it. And just talking to you now is inspirational. Like, we start off the conversation about being locked down and not knowing what's going on. But all of the things you're talking about are so cool and inspirational and don't even matter about all that stuff. You're able to just work on it and do it. And, you know, your drive and your love for everything is inspirational. So thanks, man. That's cool.
Perspective, brother. My dad taught me a long time ago, and I just keep getting these lessons. It's not what happens, it's how you look at it.
Yeah.
Like, everything can be anything you want it to be. It's up to you to decide how you're going to look at that thing. So, like, yeah, the pandemic sucks. There's no... Like, I heard somebody say to me recently, man, it was actually kind of good that the pandemic happened, because I was like, no. Let me stop you right there. Nothing is good about this. We've made the best of it, and we've learned and adapted and figured shit out that we might not have if it didn't. I see what you're saying there, but this shit is not good.
Yeah.
Nothing about this is good. We are the ones that have to look at it in a way to find good and figure out how we're going to be good. So, perspective, we have control over that. So, you mean, even right now, we're currently in this we're in March 2020 again, in January 2022. It's fucking ridiculous. But at the same time, I'm just figuring out, well, what's my next move then? Like, how am I going to navigate? Because nothing's permanent. Nothing's forever. This shit's not going to be forever.
Yep.
So what am I doing now? I'm not going to sit here and wait, because life is precious and time is precious. And, like, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how much time we each individually have. But I'm going to use the time that I do have to have as much fun as I can and do the shit that I love with as much of that time as possible. So that's my perspective. I just, like, I have X amount of time. I don't know what X is. I'm still solving for X. But in the meantime, let me have a great time with all of it, because at the end of the day, what else matters? I just want to make sure I'm good, the people I care about are good, and that I'm making some sort of positive impact on the world and hopefully inspiring people to have a similar perspective and want to do shit that makes them happy and use the time that they have here wisely.
Couldn't say it better, honestly. No, it's true. Those are all, like, such valuable things that you could apply them to anything, you know, in the world. And I think that
anything,
you really could apply it to anything. And I think that's the way to get through this. And your reaction matters. How you get up from falling down matters, and your reaction to it is the thing that can be the good thing. And that's when people say this is kind of good. It's like you said, no, our reaction is the thing that can be good. The thing can be bad, but we are reacting to it in a good way, and we are learning from it. Yeah.
Put it like this. Hip-hop was invented because black people were not allowed to go to the clubs. You couldn't get into studio.
Right.
Couldn't get into studio, so what are you going to do? All right, well, let's hook up some speakers and some old turntables to the light post, and let's have a block party. And that begat everything that we know now as hip-hop.
Yeah, exactly. Now look at what's happening.
Now look. You know what I mean? That was made out of struggle. It wasn't made out of, yo, we don't want to go to the club.
Right.
We want to be outside in the park. Like, that wasn't what it was.
And that came out of a positive reaction to a negative situation or however.
Exactly. And it came from a pure love of music and community.
Yeah.
And now it's
and leaning into your own strength and not worrying about anybody else. You know?
And MacGyver some shit sometimes, you know?
You got to MacGyver some shit.
You have to be a certain age to understand that phrase.
I know. Well, I think the movie MacGruber came out. Maybe they'll research it from that. But yeah, MacGyver, it's true. I mean, that's how we got on Twitch, was MacGyvering shit. You know what I mean? We weren't supposed to be on Twitch, but we're on there.
And fuck out of that shit.
We were like, OBS. We made OBS change. We made all these companies change because we came in like, hey, we're doing this on your platform now. So it's all about that. That comes from a sort of hip hop type of do it no matter what background too.
It's hip hop mentality. Hip hop mentality.
Are you on Twitch?
On that.
Are you still doing it?
Or? I have a Twitch account still.
Right. Yes.
I think I still have some subscribers, which is fascinating because I haven't streamed since I think July.
Do you think I keep saying to myself, it's updating?
You know what? Maybe, I don't know. And
I'm just kidding.
Either way, thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I keep saying to myself, because even during the pandemic, I was like, we're still in the pandemic. During the time when I was streaming.
I know what you mean.
And people were asking, saying, oh, do you think you're going to not stream when things open? I was like, you know what? I feel like streaming is just going to be part of the DJ zeitgeist at this point. Like, it's just another thing that we can do.
Yeah.
To say that I'm going to do it, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. And it seems as though I have not been too excited to do it, but that's not to say that I won't. I'm just not going to do it like 5 times a week like I was before.
Yeah, you were on there a lot, right?
I was, because honestly, it helped me so much. Like, I can't explain to you, and I know I'm not the only one, but like, I cannot stress how much that helped me. Like, I'm an upbeat, positive, glass half full kind of guy. I got really, 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 I don't want to say depressed out of like, to not be disrespectful for people who actually go through depression.
Yes.
But like, I was bummed the hell out though. I was bummed out. Like, I was like, maybe I was a little bit depressed. I don't know. Cause there were some days that I'm like, yo, what's the point of even getting out of bed? Like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? That's how I felt at certain times. And a few of my friends, most notably DJ Agile from here, Toronto, was like, yo, man, get on Twitch. Trust me. Like, it'll feel good. Cause I did a little bit of Instagram stuff, Instagram Live. I did a little bit of like stuff on Zoom. Some homies from the UK were doing this thing where they were doing like Zoom parties and stuff. And it was cool, but it was like, the Zoom thing was actually pretty cool because you could see people and stuff. But it just always felt so weird when you turn it off and like your energy's high and then it's just, you're in the room by yourself. Like, that's such a mind fuck.
That was weird, yeah.
And Twitch was like that too. It's like, yo, you actually get some adrenaline going and like you're conversating with people and they're talking to each other and like it becomes this little community. And then you turn it off and it's just like, and you look at yourself and you're in a room by yourself with a camera. I was like, shit, man. So that's why I ended up being on there so much, because I was like, well, I need to feel something. I need to feel like I'm part of something because nothing else is going on. And I don't know how long this is at that time. It was unprecedented. Like, we didn't know what the hell we were even dealing with. I was going to the grocery store with like a hazmat suit on, essentially.
Oh, my God. I'm wiping down every little bag coming in my house and thinking my jacket's going to give my whole family COVID.
You know what
like,
I mean?
I don't know what's happening. Yeah.
Like, think it's so funny to think of it now, but like at that time,
I'm taking tongs and putting it in the dryer. You know, it's like, I don't even know what the hell to think.
Insanity.
You know?
So like,
insanity.
It felt like, I know you were on Twitch too. I know you weren't on as much as I was.
Yeah, I tried to make a point of doing it at least once a week. But yeah, and I mean, I want to go back now, especially with everything shutting down more. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna figure out a way to get back on a regular basis because I definitely had fun with it.
I feel like a bit of a jerk though. I feel like a bit of a jerk. Like if somebody was asking me, one of my homies was like, "Yo, man, get back on Twitch. A lot of DJs are getting back on there." And I'm like, "Yo, but I feel like that." You know, like I was like, I don't need Twitch. I'm outside. And then it's lockdown. And we're like, hey, guys, I'm back. I don't want to be that guy. I feel like.
No, I don't think it's like that.
No, I don't think anybody would look at me like that. But like, I kind of feel like that. So
right. Okay.
I might just pop up. I'm not going to do any announcement or anything. I'm not going to have an event.
That was my thought too. The other day I was like, I'm just going to turn this shit on. Just do it. And then I didn't even do it. But I was like, I need to start streaming the podcast. And I was like, maybe I'll do it with 4Korners. And then we had so much shit leading up to this with like the things going wrong. I'm like, I'm not streaming this shit. Not
streaming that shit.
So many technical difficulties.
Yeah, I did that though. I connected with DJ Alizé, who is from Edmonton, Canada. He lives in Toronto now, oddly enough.
Okay.
And we did a live podcast for a fair portion of the Pando is what we called it.
The Pando.
The pandemic. We short formed it to the Pando. Trapping out the Pando.
Trapping out the Pando.
We literally had like artists on every week, and we did interviews, and we just like talked about current events and talked shit, and it was cool. It was cool. And I don't know, maybe we'll start it up again, or maybe you'll do something else podcast related. I don't know. It's one of the feathers that I've picked up and put it in my cap during this time. But all of that really helped me get through. And I know, again, I'm not the only one. There's a few friends that I can think of in particular that like really shared a similar experience to a greater extent than me, that like just spent so many hours doing it because it was a safe haven. It was a reason for getting out of bed and like to be able to connect with people and do something. I literally did it because I felt weird that I'm like, yo, I can't not DJ.
Right.
Like I don't know what it feels like to not DJ for a long time. I don't DJ for a week and I feel like my hands are like, what's wrong with my hands? I got to do something with my hands.
It's been weird. Like this past few weeks, like or month or whatever, like I kept having all these gigs. And I'm like, all right, I'm getting ready for this gig. And then I get the call like canceled. And then I get get the call canceled. So I'm like, all right, I'm not DJing for 2 weeks. This is crazy. Right. Then the one that was 2 weeks away got canceled. So I'm like, all right, a month. Oh, this is nuts. Like, so it's been weird. I know. Like, I'm like, it's, and then when I did go back and DJ and I hadn't DJed for 2 weeks, it felt so weird. I was like, I don't even know what music is anymore.
I felt like that. When I started streaming, I was like, I have no idea what song to play next.
No idea.
Every song.
It's so weird, I know.
Normally I'm funny. Like 5, 6, 10 songs ahead. I'm like thinking about routines and things I'm going to do. And I was like, I would play a song, and I'm like, shit, 3 verses, and I still don't know what to play next. And then I'd figure it out and play the next song. And then I'd again and again. It took me a while to get back into it because
I know
it's a muscle you got to exercise. I guess I didn't know that. I thought this is what I do. Apparently not.
And when we're live, we see a few people nodding their head and kind of know what direction to go in or whatever. So on there, it was a little different. You know?
You are absolutely right. There's nothing to read, so we literally had to just. It was just a new way of thinking, but then I got to like that.
Yeah, I got to like it too. But I know it was like my friends would be like, yo, bro, you just talked over like 10 songs. And I'm like, well, because I'm reading a chat and communicating with you. Like, obviously, I'm not doing that in the club, but like, it just turned into me like on a phone call with like 400 people. It was like so weird.
You know what was hilarious though? I was a little concerned that when I got back in the clubs, because people have gotten so accustomed to conversating with me that they would think that they could do that. But then I learned quickly the people that listen to me and watch me on Twitch are not the people that come to see me in the club.
It's different. Yeah. And that's what I was always saying during the pandemic. People are like, do you think it's going to be different? Do you think it's going to take away? I'm like, it's different people. It's not the same people in both places for the most part. Different people. You know, maybe a few Twitch people will find their way to the club and a few club people will find their way to Twitch, but it's a different different places.
I've actually met a few people from my Twitch community across Canada when I was touring this summer, because I actually did get a little bit of touring in just in Canada. And like to meet people that like, you're a username and like now you're a person, but like we're hugging like we're old friends. It was so
weird.
Strange, but in a good way.
Yeah,
like,
in a good way. I agree.
Genuine connections were made. Like when I sold some hoodies and stuff, and like I see pictures of people that I've never met wearing the hoodie like with such pride. I'm like, some good shit came out of this. As we're saying, and I'm like, fuck man, I gotta get back on Twitch. I gotta do it sometime.
I know. I think I'm gonna do it. I've been planning out maybe some other type of shows I could do too. Like maybe where I'm not DJing. I wrote out some different ideas of cool shows to interact, even from the podcasting or reviewing music, or what I used to do on this podcast was go over songs with the DJ from the 20 playlist,
right?
And we would go over all these songs, but copyright issues have thwarted that.
Oh, is that why you don't do it anymore?
Yeah, the podcast companies and everyone were like, you can't play music you don't own. We're going to pull the podcast down. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I just cut that part out, turned it into an interview show. The only place we'd probably legally be able to put it up would be Mixcloud, which thank God for Mixcloud, but that's the only place that could legally have it up. So we're just like, let's just cut that out. But I've been thinking it could be cool to incorporate that or have a offshoot maybe show on Twitch where it's just that, and we're going over the songs and talking about it. Because I love to know, like, what are you playing? What are you into? What's big in Toronto? Like, it's cool for me to learn about the music like that.
Well, I feel like as much as they're like, quote unquote, copyright threats on Twitch, it's still pretty Wild West.
Yeah, you can do it on Twitch. It was more just like they don't want it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, like all these companies that are official, and they're trying to become these big podcast networks.
Right.
And the people that we posted through. Man. Yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger.
Podcasting is big business. It's just like when I'm going to age myself again, like when Napster and LimeWire and all that shit, like when you start digging in their pockets is when they start to get upset.
Yeah, like when it starts getting too big. So that's what happened. I think over the pandemic, they realized, even you saw Instagram taking people down, and it just became more known, even though they're tripping, because we're all going to be wanting to share music with each other in digital format one way or another. I mean, you see it on TikTok, like we said back to the beginning, but that's the best way to do it at this point, and everybody's figuring out ways to do it on there. So you got to let us do it.
They just want their piece. They want their piece. Like TikTok hasn't figured out that, well, you can put the song in and you can actually tag the song, and then it goes to them. They log the streams and all that, and it's part of the machine. Right. They want their cut. It's what it is.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. We'll adapt. We'll keep it.
What about I don't know if this is a stereotypical Toronto question, but any Drake stories? Performing with Drake at the game, Drake asking for something weird.
I have a lot of Drake stories.
A lot. Okay.
Well, I've known the boy since like before anyone cared about him at all.
Okay.
Like, I've been like right here for the whole come up, and it's really, really strange to be anywhere with him and watch how people react. Right. Because it's like, it's not real life. It's so like, there's different types of fame. You live in LA. I know you know this. You see like famous people all the time, but like there's levels to the shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like you might see, Tyler the Creator riding his bike down Fairfax and nobody's going crazy, but let that be Bieber and it's a different story.
Yes.
Drake is like, you know what I mean? Drake is that, like, if it's Angelina Jolie is somewhere, like people are like, oh my God, she's here. Like Drake is like that. And it's weird, and I'm like,
huge at this point because his music never leaves anywhere at this point, too.
Never. And it's like, in some respects, like, don't get me wrong, Drake is fine, just like everybody else who's like on a supreme level of fame. They're great, but like watching it and watching people react, I was like, I can't imagine how that's got to feel so strange that like you can't even think about picking your nose, like you can't do anything because people are just fixated on you just because you're there, right? And like their phones are out, and like everything in them is just like, what's he gonna do? He was like, he's gonna sit down, he's gonna hold a glass, he's gonna take a sip. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So, like, here's an example. I did the F1 in Abu Dhabi a few years ago. There's aspects of this story that there's like so many things happened this week, but it was Drake was performing.
Okay.
And he was hosting and performing at the club that I was playing at.
Right.
And he was supposed to do 2 nights. He got there early. The first night he was not supposed to be there. He slipped in the back, chilling in the back, whatever. Like, everything was cool. Had a little conversation. He was just like, yeah, well, whatever. People didn't know he was there. The second and third night he's supposed to host and perform. The second night, it was so much chaos that he couldn't even get into the building. Like, there was no way to safely get him in.
Wow.
People were like pressed up against the stage, the walls, the doors, the elevator. Everything was just chaos. And it was just like a venue, like not a stadium, it's like a club.
Right.
The second night, they had to put like festival barricades.
Oh my God.
In front of the area, like the walkway from the back and like line it up with security. It was ridiculous. And I'm like, we're in Abu Dhabi. And this is how he's like being like, this is not real life. He doesn't live a real life at this point. Like,
Right.
That's the level of fame that he like. Same
level.
with Bieber. Like, I've been around Bieber and like just watching people like lick dirt trying to friggin' climb and crawl and do whatever they can to get near the guy.
Wow.
It's just so strange. It's such a strange type of fame. The highest level of fame I aspire to is DJ producer fame. It's awesome. Like, doesn't matter who, like, name the biggest DJ producer in the world, in your opinion, they live regular lives. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe not at the festival, but they can still go to the grocery store. And like, it's not that.
Right. No, Drake's not going to Whole Foods.
No, he's not able to. He's literally a prisoner of his own fame in some respects. Yeah. Which, I mean, there's a lot of great things that come with that, but there's like negative things. And I'm not singling him out. I'm saying like that level of fame is really strange. But because I've seen and been part of his come up, it's like really, really interesting to see like how it was versus how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that is super interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, okay, good Drake story. Thank you. And as far as like,
I'll tell you one more Drake story.
Oh, please, let's do it.
I remember when Blueface first was starting to bubble.
Yeah.
And like Tatiana was not even like a thought in his mind yet. It was like I can't remember. He can't even remember. Like, he was just starting to bubble. I was like, people are just starting to talk about this Blueface guy. I'm like, who the hell is Blueface? I checked it out. I was like, oh my God, his music. I don't like this. So I have no Blueface in my Serato. And at a game, we're like down to the wire, super close game. Drake messages me. He's like, yo, play Blueface, we'll win. I'm like, dude, I can't play. I know people don't tell you no a lot, but like, I can't. Like,
you're like, that's not happening.
It's just not possible. We won anyway, so it was fine. But I remember like he was the first person to request Blueface. And I was like, I don't understand why people like this guy so much. Then Tatia came out and I was like, okay, this song's okay. But he's still like...
Drake seems to always be super in tune with whatever the new thing. And, you know, he jumps on it.
He really, really is. Like, I remember, like, it's interesting now that he signed Smiley. I remember a few years ago, he posted a video of him, like, rapping along to a Smiley mixtape record. And I remember we're all so shocked because, like, we know Smiley, but, like, we're like, holy shit, Drake's fucking with Smiley? Like that? Like, this is like, he was super underground at the time. Yeah. Like, super underground. Like, you would definitely have not heard. You had to be, like, within a certain radius within the city. Not even the whole city knew about Smiley at that time. Right. And Drake was friggin' in, I don't know, some pool somewhere rhyming these bars.
Some pool
and skip ahead. Yeah, and skip ahead. He signed Smiley and did a record with him. So I'm like, shit, man. Yeah. That Drake he really keeps his ear to the street. Like, very, 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 very keenly.
I think that's what helps him stay in the mix too, along with the fact that
100%.
making amazing music, but he's always with the younger people coming up.
Have you noticed he always like finds that next artist and collaborates with them and makes their hot song his hot song?
Yep.
He's really
and
good
the
at
next type of music, even the next genres as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So
definitely.
I think that's a smart thing people should pay attention to.
So all in all, Drake is doing okay. He's
yeah,
all right.
he's doing all right.
He's
okay.
weathering the pandemic pretty all right.
Yes, sir.
What about I mean, we've been talking for a while, so we'll probably get out of here pretty soon. But I wanted to ask you probably one or two more questions, and then had some stuff from the internet that people sent in.
Yeah.
But as far as we referenced your name in the beginning being 4Korners, and I know that comes from, correct me if I'm wrong, the 4 corners of the world. You wanting to travel, you wanting to really make your name all over the place and perform and DJ everywhere.
Exactly.
Where are some of the places that you've enjoyed all over the world, or some of your favorite places, or one of them that you've just had an incredible time?
Oh, man. You know what? People often ask me, yo, what's your favorite place you've ever been to? What's the best place? And I cannot answer that with
It doesn't have to be the top, I guess. Just
definitely not. Like,
you
ask me some of them because you know better.
Yes, exactly. I can't name one either.
Exactly. I really, really, really love Tokyo. I think that like it's another one of those places where you can wander into some bar that has 3 tables and they'll have a dope DJ. Like, every DJ in Tokyo seems to be dope. I have yet to hear a trash DJ there. They're like,
it's crazy, right?
So
like,
good.
Yeah.
And like not
so
just
good.
technically good, but also like like they know songs. I'm like, how the hell do you know this? Friggin'
I know.
A. Marie B-side. And like, you know what I mean? Like what?
I don't know. It's that Japanese attention to detail or something.
If they love something, if they like something, they love it and they live it.
Yeah.
I love that about there. I mentioned Amsterdam. Amsterdam's great. Marrakesh is awesome.
Oh, wow. Dope.
Where else? I mean, London is one of my favorite places. I before the pandemic, I had a monthly residency in London that I was like flying over there every month, and I was always so excited to go. Their scene is incredible. They have so much dope music, such a scene, just such a great city, so much going on there. But like the music, man, like they have stadium status artists that people here don't know who the hell they are. And
right.
Amazing.
And they're just open-minded to things over there that they're not here.
Yeah.
It's just it's a fun place to be a DJ.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy LA. I've played at Bootsy Bellows a few times and have had some good nights out there.
Nice.
And a place that I've never played, but I kind of would like to play. I know they would not pay me a lot because they probably don't pay DJs very much. But Good Times at Davy Wayne's. Have you been there?
Oh, in LA, that place where you walk in through like the vending machine?
Through the freezer. Yeah.
Oh, through the freezer? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
those
love
places.
That place.
Yeah, it's really dope. I know who, they're not paying huge prices to DJs, but it is a fun place to play, open-minded crowd. You play all types of stuff. Really dope designed places, because they have other places too where you walk in through a closet and you end up in a Cuban, bar, and then
do they own different speakeasies and stuff? Is that the same
ton of them?
Group?
Yeah, all over LA. Yeah, Houston Brothers. So they have Black Rabbit Rose, where it's this crazy magician thing, and then they have No Vacancy, and then they have Madam Siam.
Okay, I know that one.
Yeah, and they have on the record Las Vegas is their place too.
Oh, that's them too. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's that same kind of thing, and they have a secret vinyl room in there that you got to get into, and so the Good Time Davy Wayne. I mean, I guess I'm 99% sure I'm right that they own all those places. But if I'm wrong, someone hit me up. But yeah, they have those secret, like they have this place called La Descarga, and you walk in and you're in a tiny little room, and a girl is writing on a desk like she's working on something. She looks up at you and you're like, oh shit, I'm in the wrong place. And she's like, what are you doing? You're like, oh, sorry, I'm trying to go to La Descarga. And she goes, oh, go in there, and points at this tiny closet, and you open the closet and there's just a bunch of clothes, and you're like, what am I doing? And you move the clothes and you see a stairwell. Man. You walk down the stairwell and you're in this amazing, you feel like you're in Miami or something, and there's like a band playing like Cuban music, and I mean, and the coolest bar you've ever seen.
I'm gonna figure out how to get back to LA very soon. I love Speakeasies, and you just described like a whole bunch of them that I gotta come check out.
Oh, you gotta check all those.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, there's one in downtown that they don't own. That's like more like a Japanese type one with these Japanese whiskeys and all vinyl too. That I went to right before the pandemic. And yeah, when you come back, we will do an in-person interview, and I will take you to all these fun places. So,
deal.
And we'll eat good food too.
Deal. Oh hell yeah! I'm a foodie,
I don't
man.
know what kind of food you love, but I can take care of you, whatever you need.
A lot. But yeah, man, there's a lot of great places in the world that I like. Traveling is like the life hack of my life.
Yeah,
like, of this whole shit for me, and yeah, I've been able to like go and experience different cultures and food and places and play in dope spots. So like there's a lot that I can, like Singapore. I really like Asia now that I'm like mentioning it. Because like I'm about to say Singapore, Shanghai, Taipei, like
all of it. Okay.
Really, really dope. But yeah, I've had some, and it's Barcelona. Barcelona is like my favorite place.
Oh wow. Amazing. Well, I might be going there more for my son's soccer playing than my DJing soon, but we'll see what happens.
Yo, any reason to go to Barcelona is a good reason. Trust me.
Yeah,
amazing,
I know. I'll try to get some gigs, and he'll go play some games, and we'll be together.
Exactly. There you go.
All right, let's hit some of these internet questions. Kind of a little power session, and then let's go. All right, let's see. We got some of them I think are just jokes, and some of them are real. But we got DJ Vic Vibes just wrote, "Is it hip to be square?" I don't know. Is that an inside joke? Or?
No, I think that's just a play on the 4Korners of the square.
Oh,
Hardy,
God. Okay,
har.
All right, Vic Vibes. I didn't even understand it.
Then the answer is yes.
Sorry, Vic. All right, Massalicious wants to know, what is the process for your mixtapes? And also, I can tell Massalicious is also not a very young person because they said mixtapes.
Yeah, they didn't just say mixes. They said mixtapes.
I had someone write into this podcast once, and they asked me, why do you guys always say mixtapes? What does that even mean? What is a mixtape? And I go, oh, and I tried to explain. They go, so you mean a mix, like a DJ mix? And I was like, yeah, we used to like put them on tapes. And they're like, what's I'm like, a cassette, like I was like, oh my God, I'm having to explain mixtape.
So cute.
So yeah.
My process for making mixtapes, honestly, it's fucking funny. My process has always been, if there's a process, start with energy. Like I know different DJs have different ways about it. I always like start high, and let it, and then it smooths out at the end.
Right.
If there's any method to my madness when it comes to mixtapes, that would be the thing. Other than that, I just like to introduce new music and like new sounds. Right. And I was always one that would, I know some of the OGs were like, called me like I was not in high favor with the purists because I didn't do my mixtapes live all the time. Like I like to do edits and like chop things up and like do some crazy shit that's just not possible, especially back then when we had no mixers with cue points. Right. But that's exciting to me to be able to like just do crazy shit. Yeah. So I guess that was like the earliest version of me producing, but
that's creativity. I mean, I see it with your TikTok, with all of it. You love just kind of diving in and finding all the tools and incorporating.
I like to try shit. I like to try shit. So like that's what I was doing very, very early on. One of my like early mixtapes that I started making a name for myself was called the Mashup Theory. It was during that era, and I called it Bangers. The Mashup Theory, Bangers and Mash.
Yes.
And I actually
classic
put a picture.
English breakfast.
Yeah. And and it's disgusting. So I put a picture of Bangers and Mash on it, and it just looks so gross. Like I found the grossest picture I could find and used that in the artwork. And people were like, ew, but it's dope though. Yeah. And that was like around the time when I was really trying to drive home that I'm like, yo, I know I'm a black DJ, but I don't just play hip hop, because it started to get like that. I don't know if you've ever seen that experience, seen anybody experience like that. There was a time when, like, especially here in Toronto, I wasn't touring yet. It was like really early in my career, but it was difficult for me and my partner to get to play in certain clubs because, call it what it is, racism. They were like, well, we are not sure about the crowd you'll bring, or like shit like that. It was like, well, you're saying that you don't want a lot of black people to be here. That's fucked up. But we're gonna, but like, give us time, we'll be here. And like, me and him at the time just like went on this crusade of, okay, well, let's not play. We have to literally not play at a bunch of hip hop clubs and parties for a time to like distance ourselves from the perception of whatever to get our foot in the door. And then we brought everybody, did that shit.
Nice.
But,
yeah, it's crazy. No, that obviously that's still a big problem in our world, you know, and especially in the nightlife, in the DJ world as a whole, and music industry, and all right, that's a great story. Let's see, Quinn Dudley, favorite Toronto venue other than Scotiabank.
I will. I know it's right. That's my residency.
Yes.
The best Toronto venue, I'm gonna go all time. It's not there anymore, but the Government nightclub. Do you know about the Government?
Yeah, I remember that place.
Legendary venue. I cut my teeth in that place. Like, that place, I was a Saturday night resident in like the smallest room in the club, but this was like a mega club that had like 9 rooms.
Right.
And every room had a different DJ and a different sound every Saturday night. And it went from like 10 p.m. till like 7 a.m. And the main room had like a headlining dance DJ every week. So it'd be Benny Benassi and then Sasha, then Infected Mushroom, then Guetta, then like anyone you could think of would be there every Saturday. And I really learned about dance music in that building. That's my favorite club of all time.
Amazing. Yeah, I went there a couple times. I think during like Toronto Film Festival or something, they'd have some crazy after party thing. I'd show up there like, this place is huge. Everybody's here.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was really, really crazy. It was a time.
Yeah, it sounds like it. All right, Vlatz, the editor of our videos and someone who's been with this podcast since the beginning, and he does DJ City Latino, and he's just one of the best people ever, asked a question that we already basically answered, but I didn't want to ignore him. He said, when are you coming to LA to visit the Beatsource DJ City office?
Oh,
I mean, we know soon as you can.
I have not even been to the new office yet. Last time I was there was
not a lot of people have.
Right, because it's like shit shut down.
We opened right before it shut down. So, I mean, I met at the holiday party a couple weeks ago. I met, you know, the Latin curator, like all these people that had never been there before. You know, we'd never met each other. A lot of the people had never even met each other. So,
not in person, just like, you know, of each other online and shit.
Yeah, but had never hung, you know, we all went bowling. Yeah. We're like eating and drinking, you know, so yeah. And people had never seen The Office, and it's crazy. I mean, we just started doing podcasts again there. And now I wonder, can we go back and do it again? Or I'm going to make everyone get tested. I don't know what the hell.
I am planning like the earliest opportunity that I get. And like traveling to the States from Canada right now is not the most difficult thing. Right. But it's a little bit iffy in terms of returning because of the protocols and like the isolating and all that kind of stuff. And during the basketball season, I can't risk that. Yeah, normally I would like really, really cut. Like I would fly back from Europe on a day that I have a game, get home, drop my bag, and go straight to the stadium. I would do that all the time. I can't do anything like that right now because if something happens and then I'm, you know what I mean? I'm not able to go to the game. That's a big problem. So for now, I'm not, like, even when I went to Jamaica a few weeks ago, I was like a little bit concerned. I left a buffer of like 2 days, but I was still like kind of concerned. That thankfully it worked out. So as we're in severe lockdown right now, I don't know, but like I hope to. I'm gonna put it out there and let's say I'll be in LA in like February, March.
Okay,
probably March. Yeah, probably March.
It seems like when things start warming up again, is when we'll be safely going around and
I think so.
Stuff.
I hope so.
I hope so too. All right, we got a couple more. I don't know if this is a big long story or what, but I also don't. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, because it's all one word, and I don't know where the break in the names are. But I think it's Tama Liviero or Tamal Viero. I don't know, but thank you for asking the question. They said, "Why did you separate from your DJ partner?"
That's an interesting question. Most simple answer I can give, and this is something that will ring home with anybody who's in the music business. This shit is not for everybody. It's
right.
It has its ups, but it has its downs. And like realistically, I actually had 3 partners. When 4Korners was like conceived in my mind, I thought of it as a crew, and I roped in some of my friends and my cousin because I thought, well, if you're gonna have a DJ crew, you should have a crew. Like that's what DJs were crews.
Yeah,
within my mind.
Right.
And those guys didn't last a week because they didn't really. It was my idea, not their idea. But the partner that I really was with for a long time used to go by the name of Short Circuit. He was my MC. He's not in the business anymore. Is the simple answer. Yeah. It's like it's not easy to like dedicate your life to this, and it's not for everybody. So he had some fun. We traveled the world. We did a lot of things, but in the long run, I guess it wasn't for him, and he's doing other things.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense. And final question from Andre 905, the edit master himself. He said, who are your favorite DJs and who is your favorite Toronto Raptor? I guess that could be all time.
I'll do all time rather than current roster because then I'm like, favorite Raptor of all time, Vince Carter.
Yeah,
that guy changed everything. There's actually a documentary. I don't know if you know about it. If you don't, you should watch it, called The Carter Effect.
Yeah.
And it is documentary chronicling how Vince Carter's impact on pop culture because of what he did when he was with Toronto.
Wow.
How that affected the city and the culture, and like in some ways was like the thing that started the ball rolling for there to be a Drake as an example.
Right.
Because
that's incredible.
He was really that pivotal. Yeah.
I want to watch that.
One of the main things that he did is he partnered with a guy here and opened the first bottle service club in Canada. I don't even know if there was bottle service outside of France at that point. And they brought that vibe. And it changed everything. So Vince Carter, definitely. My favorite DJs, I feel like it's gonna be cliche if I say the regular usual suspects, because like everybody loves Jeff, everybody loves A-Track. Like they're the greatest of our time. We know that. But I can name like some DJs that maybe are like unsung heroes that I think are incredible. There's a DJ out of Brussels, Belgium, named DJ Psar, Psar. He's a really good friend of mine, but hands down one of the best DJs that I've ever seen, and I've seen it over the years. Like he's one of the first people to ever bring me to Europe. That guy knows how to read a room like not many, and I think that's probably the thing that I'm most impressed with DJs is their ability to like control a crowd and read a room, because like technical skills, if you spend all day cutting and scratching, you can get really good at it. If you have access to the internet, you can get a lot of songs. But to be able to like take those songs and take elements of DJing and also adapt and like read a room and get on the mic and talk shit, and they might not even understand the language you're speaking, but you can get them going and stuff. Like that shit is really big to me. So he's definitely one of them. There's a DJ out of Spain named JK, Jekey.
Okay.
Former like tableist turned club DJ. Super sick. Super sick. It's a DJ from Amsterdam named Wax Fiend. Super sick. Just like just selection, ability to read the crowd, technically so tight. Like I'm a fan of DJs. I know I said earlier it takes a lot for a DJ to impress me. That's not exactly true because I know a lot of DJs that are like so inspirational to me because they do what I do, but their way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like that's my favorite thing about DJ. That's why probably reading the crowd and like showing new music and stuff. I think those are the things that I really, really rate because it's like I couldn't do that because I'm not from there. So I don't know this music, but the way you're doing it, holy, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. I think that like being able to just move people, being able to connect with people and like make it happen. That's that shit. Anybody can play the hot records, but if you can take a room and like, there's a DJ Ike from London. Okay. Every time I see this guy play, he's like playing real hip hop rooms and he'll throw in this random Brazilian track that I'm like, yo, Shazam. Like, what the hell is this? And you made it work. Like and he didn't just throw in this random thing that he likes. He made it work. Like people that were just dancing to Migos are dancing to this Brazilian song, and then he goes into like French Montana or something like that, and it makes sense. Like those types of things are really, really, really dope. And then I can't even begin to start naming DJs from Canada. There's so many that are out of this world.
Right, so many. No, that was an amazing list. I don't even know all those people, so honestly, good list for me to look people up, and I'm always looking for new DJs to have on here. Like I want to continue to, expose people to new DJs on here, have dope inspirational DJs they know about, and so the list goes on.
I would love to connect you with a couple of the guys that I just mentioned.
Please.
Because that's the thing. They're all from different parts of the world. And their experience
which I love.
Is so different. Their come up is so different. Some of the stories that they've told me, I'm like, yo, I don't even understand because like I'm from Toronto and we had access to certain things that you're telling me that there was literally no access. You had to like get on a plane to go buy records and shit. Like that's
nuts.
Like some of these guys are like, yo, we had to like drive to London to go get hip hop magazines.
Right.
Like,
wow.
That doesn't even make sense to me.
Right.
But that's
crazy.
That's their experience. So like I would love to connect you with a few of these guys. They're just
please. Yeah, I need to start asking the guests who they want on the show at the end of every episode because that'll help me figure out new people.
Got you, bro.
Great list.
I'm so like I always seek out and like what we call it among us, and you're definitely one, is like one of us.
Thank you.
Like a certain type of DJ music lover, like curator of the culture.
I agree.
Like when you meet somebody, you're like, okay, that guy's one of us, or she's one of us. Like that's these guys that I'm talking about.
Yep.
And yourself, sir. One of us.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Well, I mean, it's an honor to be in that crew of people, but I know exactly what you're saying. You just meet somebody, you're like, all right, we're same page, 100%.
Yeah.
And I know you're gonna like these DJs and this music, and fun to share music with you and all that. Well, shit, before we get out of here, you have any last words for the DJs listening, either words of encouragement or things to promote or just saying whatever you want before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've promoted a lot of my shit, but if you want to know anything about me, 4Korners, number 4Korners with a K, just Google that shit or 4Korners.com or you can find me. I'm not that hard to find on the internet. Just type in 4Korners. I live on the internet a lot. And beyond that, just like to reiterate some of what I said earlier, is like if you love something, and whether it's DJing or anything else, do your best to figure out a way to do those things with more of your time than not, because we're not here to go to work 9 to 5 doing something we hate to go out drinking on the weekend and then start all over again. That ain't it.
Yeah.
That ain't it.
Right.
I did that earlier in life. Not really, but like a little bit. I have had some day jobs. They were never the vibe. They were never the thing that I woke up in the morning excited to do. But I'm like 20 years deep in being self-employed, and I still wake up every morning excited to go to work. And I would love for everybody to feel that way. I think that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not a billionaire, but I consider myself extremely rich and wealthy in life experience and quality of life, and I wish that for everybody.
Amazing.
So go for what you love, go for what you want, and just like don't let anybody tell you can't.
It's perfect. 4Korners. Dropping gems. Yes. Oh my God, so good.
Man, thank you so much for having me.
You got
me,
the other. Wait, I need that other music, dude. The one. It's from when the guy like tells people to get out of the store or whatever. Or
oh, what do you mean? You mean this? You talking about this?
Zoomy good.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. No, we don't have a bathroom here. You don't need to apply. I'll give you an application if you want to go to the bathroom here. I'm just a 9-to-5 worker. Oh my God, I need
TikTok,
that music.
Man,
so good.
TikTok.
Too good. Well, yo, 4Korners, Toronto represent, worldwide represent. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be shaking hands in person soon and eating food and breaking bread and having a good time.
Absolutely, bro.
I hope Toronto opens up soon. So let's keep each other posted. And thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Yes, brother. Peace.
All right. Thank you to 4Korners for coming on the show and sharing all of that knowledge. And really, it was so fun for me to get to know him a lot better. The 20 podcast is produced by Beatsource. Join us next week and every week for more interviews as we discuss music that matters to DJs. I'm DJ Spider signing off. Peace.